Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast, the wrestling podcast where we review every segment of Raw and give you guys the wrestling news of the week. My name is not one that's on the Wrestlemania card, it is Turbo Tony. And I don't do this podcast alone, as you know, there's another guy and it just hangs around sometimes. And I tell you what, hear his voices in his head and they tell him that it's time to podcast. It's the Viper, Matty Orton. Right?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I like if someone did a version of Orton's theme music and just taped over like podcasting analogies and all that stuff.
Yeah, it could work.
Yeah. How you doing this week, Matt?
Yeah, can't complain. It's Mania season after all, and it's nearly here.
It's a busy damn week for us.
It's on us. That's it.
That's one of the things, yeah. It's the first... I mean, we have reviewed WrestleMania before, obviously, on the show. We're over a year old. But, man, we weren't nearly as big as we are. It's like say, oh, well, we're big, you know, but we've got far more subscribers than we did back when we did the first Mania.
Oh, gotcha.
So, this is interesting. We've got loads of stuff. Going to have the review of WrestleMania up next week. I'm not actually watching it live. Do you know the clocks go forward over here? So even people watching...
Is it over here?
Yeah. Like in the middle of WrestleMania, it goes forward. So
I didn't know whether it was for us, because like, I know that us here and America have two different daylight saving time.
No, I'm pretty sure it's us. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's us.
I think I had a problem once when I was just sort of like, oh yeah, it's fine, we got plenty of time, we got like an hour. Oh no, daylight savings. Shit.
Especially for people going to be watching WrestleMania, they think they're trying to pack in, like they're counting each hour they have of sleep before they can go to work, and suddenly another hour's just gone because it's daylight savings.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm in that boat.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought I'd bring it up for you, you know, so you can plan accordingly.
Check that.
But yeah, we will be watching the Hall of Fame. We're not going to do a separate review for the Hall of Fame because there's not really much point. I don't think there's really much point reviewing a Hall of Fame. But we will talk about it, obviously, with the episode. And obviously, the Raw after WrestleMania is going to be interesting, to say the least, as well. Often, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes better than WrestleMania. So, that's our little mini Mania then. All the international fans are over for that. But still, that's not this week. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've got the Go Home Show of Raw. We will be reviewing that every single segment. We will be giving you guys the wrestling news of the week, a big fan feedback, a fail of the week, and our predictions for the biggest pay-per-view in the world when it comes to professional wrestling.
Yeah.
So, interesting in regards to that. So, big packed show for you guys. With further ado, we should probably get on our skates and get this episode started. News! And the big news of the week, which heavily impacts what's going to happen at WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar has re-signed with the WWE, and he has stated that he considers this to be his retirement from MMA/UFC.
Yeah.
Before we begin this, I would like to state, okay, you were right, Matt.
I know.
Do you enjoy that?
It tastes sweet.
Oh, you're going to savour that?
Yeah.
For people that obviously don't know what I was saying, I stated categorically that I was like, oh, he's definitely joining UFC. Well, don't I look like a bit of a prick now? And Matt was like, nah, he's definitely coming back to WWE. So
you stick with WWE. WWE has the wallet.
So is UFC.
So I'm not saying that UFC is like a bankrupt business.
Yeah. Well, he cites the main reasons for going back to WWE is the fact that, you know, he didn't want to go back after he retired, you know, once and all that lot, which I don't think is big of a problem. I think the big enough problem is the fact that he would have to do more work in UFC than he does in WWE. That's the brunt thing. And it's not a 1-year extension. Word is he signed on for 3 years. That's a long contract. Now, obviously, he's going to be on the similar deal than what he's on now, so I wouldn't expect to see him that much. But
I love if it's just going to be that sort of contract. It's like, we have you for 3 years. We won't call you. Like, you'll know when we want you.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Like, you can stay at home, and we'll pay for you to stay at home.
Yeah.
But the moment we want Lesnar, you be damn ready.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. This is good news for WWE. And anyone says, "Oh my goodness, deciding the part-time or even longer," well, come on, get with the program. Brock Lesnar is box office. He has always been box office. He's been a major attraction for WWE over the last year, and the way he's been handled since the Undertaker streak breaking, they've made the most out of that situation, regardless of what people thought that he shouldn't have broken the streak. Man, he came out of that looking like a monster, and then he came out of SummerSlam looking even more like a monster. It's almost gone to the point now where it's like, realistically, like in terms of storyline, how can Roman Reigns beat the guy? And I think that's kind of what they're going for. But this is good news for WWE. Obviously, they're going to have this big marquee attraction on their books going forward next 3 years under their banner. And yeah, all the things I said before about him showing up with UFC. I know he stated, "Oh, that wasn't that much. I just wanted to see, how everything was going on." That was a carefully decided marketing ploy. I guarantee you that appearance at UFC bumped up his salary a few notches with WWE. Knowing that there's competition for his signature, they would have got him more money. That's just the bottom line of it. And he's not stupid, Lesnar. He knows how to get his cash. Yeah, look at the position he's in now. He's not a dumb guy.
He's a guy who knows his own worth.
Exactly. Which, as you would say, I think sometimes WWE want to go back from, your whole CM Punk thing. They didn't like the fact that he knew his own worth, and that was one of the things he said on there. But Lesnar is a huge box office attraction, and for that you bend your rules a little bit. You bend what you want to be able to get this guy in your fold, and you can continue building on. And it does make the match at WrestleMania a little bit more interesting, because you naturally assumed, regardless of what happened, if Lesnar hadn't signed with WWE, he's not walking out of there with the belt. Obviously, that option's off the table.
That's it.
But now he's re-signed, that option is firmly back on the table, and obviously we'll talk about that in the predictions, whether or not we believe Lesnar actually has a chance of leaving WrestleMania as the champion, having a clean victory over their golden boy, no less. For people thinking that he's signed to a 3-year deal and he's going to be showing up more, nothing was said along those lines. I believe he's on a similar appearance fee, but he's just over a longer period of time now. Yeah. So that's a long way.
I think I actually heard he was on less per year.
Yeah, I think he got less than what he would have got at UFC, but it's easier work. He doesn't have to get battered to do it, I'd say, for the work with WWE. And he can spend large portions, 3-4 months at home. Really, that's a cushy job, really.
Do I want to go to work today? Nah, I'll leave it another week.
Yeah. Yeah. And, if he gets pissed off, then he can walk out on WWE and not do an appearance. And obviously he did that, and look at that, he got rewarded for it. He got given a brand new shiny contract. So he's one of the only people that WWE would do that for, because he can command it. He's got the numbers back him up. He's box office. I've always said he's box office.
That's it.
Roman Reigns. This is in the news. I just wanted to put this in there because it was a slight mention that I stated last week in regards to Roman Reigns. I wanted him to be the new, a big guy for WWE. I wanted him to be one of many big guys for them. And I said one of the reasons why possibly WWE have dialed back on Daniel Bryan, apart from all the other reasons, but one of the reasons is that Daniel Bryan has been very vocal about the fact he doesn't really like doing media appearances. Well, I'll tell you who's been doing a fuck ton of media appearances this week. Roman Reigns. And one of the things I would like to state with that is that all the media appearances that he did were very, very good. He's been on talk shows, he's been on sports shows, in regards to that he was with Michelle Beadle, if you remember. Was also on Raw this week. Showed up there, but she's a big WWE fan. And Paul Heyman was there. It was kind of cool.
I saw that. Yeah.
But
shame there's no Hoda. I swear that's what they need.
I think I'll skip, with Gifford and Hoda with Reigns. I don't think there's going to be much done with, we all laugh about that horrible, horrible segment last year. There is nothing going to be done between WWE
and there's very much a buried hatch now.
Especially what they said afterwards. They very much degraded wrestling, in its entirety, which is something she did ages ago when a similar thing happened. So, still, anyway. But yeah, the guy. Listen, right? Everyone's down to their own opinions, of course. But by our opinion, this is an opinion show. I like to always state that The guy looks like $1 million when he's doing his media appearances, and it actually looks like he's got a weight off his shoulders because he's talking naturally without a script. And I kid you not, he looks and sounds good. You know, when he doesn't have the script thrown in front of him, what he has to do is suffer and succotash and all that lot. When he can speak on these chat shows and still obviously promote the show, he was good. I think he was very organic in the way he was speaking. So, you can catch. I mean, obviously everyone's going to be doing tons of media appearances. It is WrestleMania after all, but Roman Reigns, considering he's in a main event and he is the ipso facto face. And Brock Lesnar's not going to be doing anything. He's not going to be making any media appearances. He's going to be all over the place. His face is going to be everywhere, and there's going to be tons of shows that he's involved in. So here we go. We go from that to stuff that doesn't fill us with promise and potential. Rey Mysterio has reportedly received death threats over the passing of Perro Aguayo Jr. Mm-hmm. This is really unfortunate news. We said last week, obviously, when the story came out, it was a really bad situation. Obviously, our condolences go out to Aguayo's family, obviously, family and friends. But we also said that Rey Mysterio had absolutely nothing to do with the death that occurred. And just because he's a big name, and maybe he got involved in a physical move, which I go back and look at all the time, and I'm just like, I cannot see how that would have caused it. But obviously something did happen. And Mysterio, there was loads of rumors circulating around the week that he's going to retire. I think it was like an off-the-cuff mention he said, but then he went back and said, no, I'm not retiring, which is good.
He said that because it's like Anguero wouldn't want that.
Nah, he wouldn't. And he wouldn't want death threats to be sent to Mysterio either. So I think that's awful. I think the thing is, a lot of people may not know it here in the States or England or anything along those lines. But Aguayo was a big name in Mexico, and obviously he had fans, people that respected his line of work. The best way to respect his line of work is not to send death threats to people that he respected. That's really
it's a good way of doing it.
Yeah. Some people just don't seem to grasp, the severity of some of their words and actions. So, hopefully here that Mysterio can, as much as I hate saying it, it will eventually blow over. It will get easier for Mysterio, and he can go back in there and, he can do tributes to Aguayo in the ring, much in the same he did to Eddie, and he's one of those guys. Rey Mysterio isn't a bad guy. He's probably one of the most genuine guys you'll probably ever see in wrestling in general. He's a down to earth guy, and someone who I imagine he's going through tons of just really hard times at the moment. So, man, if I get more messages stating to me next week that he's receiving more death threats, awkward. Anyway, let's move on. The rumours are, we do not know yet. There's plenty of rumours at the moment. But apparently it's been confirmed, but we'll see tonight as it happens, that Eva Marie is due to replace Jerry Lawler as the host of the Hall of Fame ceremony. Yeah. Here we go. Obviously, people know the reasons why we dislike Eva Marie. I've stated tons of times before, she doesn't give a shit about professional wrestling. She's shown that already. She doesn't have any respect for the business. She saw this as an easy way to get mainstream attention and to continue her life as a model and to be a reality star. And that's not what wrestling is and never has been. But obviously it's entertainment and all that lot along those lines. Eva Marie was never brought in to be a professional wrestler or to be anywhere involved in what happens in the ring. And that annoys people. And, of course you would be. That she's been featured so prominently. And you've got women in NXT busting their ass to become fantastic wrestlers and getting almost no publicity for it. And I was talking to Matt about this earlier on. I don't know about you guys, and obviously it's subjective, right? But there's obviously one woman. If you're going to have one woman at the moment, in terms of how good she is for these sort of occasions, and how much she's worked to, be maybe put in the front line and in the limelight.
Like, proven in announcing.
Yeah. Yeah, very well worded, and in my opinion, better looking than Eva Marie. And that's all down to people. And I understand Eva Marie's a very attractive woman; they're both very attractive. But I don't know why I just seem to find this woman far more attractive. Maybe because she has brain cells, and that is Renee Young. And I firmly believe that if you're going to put a pretty face in front of a microphone to host this ceremony, at least have it with a woman who knows the wrestlers that she's announcing down into
That's
being
it.
inducted. Eva Marie does not give a flying fuck about any of the wrestlers being inducted. Yeah? She probably thinks the Bushwhackers are as prestigious as the Macho Man. Come on. She doesn't know shit. She doesn't care. She doesn't like wrestling. Yeah, let's just get this honestly. You can tell she doesn't like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not her thing.
Yeah, I said to Matt that this is an accident waiting to happen. The last time that she had lines that she was supposed to learn, we had Ginger Mahal being stated out.
Yeah.
If she, if she relates names wrong or just fluffs up her stuff, it's gonna be a train wreck. She could get through it okay. She's got hard camera to look at, so it's not that much of an issue. But
if anything else, there's going to be an auto cue.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not as if she has to learn all the lines; she just basically has to read off a teleprompter. But goddamn, when you look at women that could do that role so well, I think Renee Young is just head and shoulders beyond anyone there.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I watched 2 hours today of like build up, at the Access. Renee Young was hosting. It's just easy. It's too easy for her. She's too good at it. When you would put someone else in her role, it's almost like when they brought JBL into commentary and they still had JR on their books.
Yeah.
You're putting someone in there that obviously is never going to be as good as someone that you've already got. That to me is bad management. But there we go. They want it to seem more like a red carpet affair, and fuck it. The only thing that Eva Marie knows what to do is to walk down red carpets.
All red everything, don't forget.
Yeah. It is frustrating because you can tell. You look at her and she doesn't care. She doesn't care about wrestling. Come on, yeah. She doesn't give a shit. She doesn't care. Hell, Cameron doesn't give a shit. Yeah. She already openly admitted on Tough Enough she doesn't care. Right? My favourite match was Alicia Fox against Melina. I'm only just getting into wrestling now. The look on Austin's face, priceless. You cannot get that anymore.
It's like, I'm going to have to punch a bitch.
Yeah. They don't give a shit about wrestling. So why would you feature them? And it's not so much like, you look at the likes of Trish Stratus, right? She came into wrestling. She didn't know anything about wrestling. You can say the moment she got into WWE, she didn't care about wrestling. Well, she did, because she busted her ass and got better and became one of the best female wrestlers of the modern era. That's it. I don't see that sort of dedication.
Can we say the same thing from Eva Marie?
No. Absolutely not. Man, I don't cringe that much when I watch wrestling. When I see this woman taking a bump or selling anything, I can't stop cringing. It's awful. It really is.
Stop it. Why is it on my TV?
Yeah. I can only imagine people like Bret Hart and Dusty Rhodes looking at that just going, what the fuck is she doing in that ring? Really? But yeah, if she shows up there, then, we'll have to deal with it. But if I were a legend and she pronounces my name incorrectly or does something wrong in terms of introducing me out, I would be pissed. Because it's like, WWE doesn't really care.
Especially considering this is the year where you've got lots of interesting names.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's our thoughts on that. And let's face it,
this is where she gets Schwarzenegger wrong.
Yeah. Oh dear. Listen, right? And people might say, "Well, you're digging on this girl way too much." Well, if she shows me that she's trying to get better in her body of work, which is to be, if she was a manager for someone, and that would be fine. But you just don't see. We don't see her on TV, and when we do, it's awful. That's why we don't see her on TV. So she should get better. She should go to NXT, but she's a reality star. It's all this stuff about title divas, and I'd much rather not get into it now. But I'll get into there. Let's get into our fan feedback because that makes.
So you've already started going into it there.
Yeah. Let's leave that. I'm going to cut that thread before it goes too long, and we end up with a 3-hour episode. Fan feedback. We got plenty of questions and quite a few questions from people who, leave questions before. Some that are new to leaving questions for us. And we're still at the point that we're answering all questions, even though we got fucking loads this week. We're going to make a few references to a few comments as well made last week that we wanted to rely on as well. So fan feedback starts with We Are ODST. And they ask, how do we think such stars as CM Punk, Paige, and Brock Lesnar would have turned out in the Attitude Era? So how successful they would have been.
Ooh.
Interesting question. Let's go through that list. CM Punk first.
Fine.
I think he would have done good. And the reason being is because he's got way more of a platform on how to speak than he did in his normal run.
Yeah, I mean, especially during the Attitude Era, where it's just like, can you cut a promo? Good, because you're going to have to. Like, it was a very much sink or swim, even just on the mic alone.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I'm a little bit worried about Punk is obviously he's a smaller guy. But you're looking back then, the likes of Shawn Michaels and everything like that was still main eventing. Being a smaller guy, and CM Punk, he wasn't thin by any means, but he was smaller. But smaller guys were starting to come through at that point anyway. After the steroid scandals and everything that started to dumb down a little bit. So you had your Bret Harts, which weren't tanked guys. You had your Shawn Michaels, So
well, especially considering we're talking about a time where you'd like, Dean Malenko and Eddie sort of were like a competent wrestler as well.
Yeah. So I think he would have fit in just well. I think his attitude probably would have meshed well. I think things maybe have even got even worse. Because he wants to be a top star, but back then you ain't topping Austin. You're just not doing it. All Rock.
That's it.
That's just the way it's not working. But I think he would have done well. I think CM Punk would have done alright. Paige, however, I list these out to you. She's British. She's pale white. That's enough for Vince to slap a goth gimmick on her.
Yeah.
And I'm
she'd have been with the Brood.
Yeah. You can see it happening,
Yeah.
And, the fact is that the foreign stars didn't have as much of a going well in WWE at that point either. And you got to think back then, WWE's dynamic for women wasn't regardless of how beautiful they are. No, it wasn't how beautiful they were. But it was how much of a pin-up model they were. You wanted the Sables, the Tori Wilsons. You wanted... your Sunnies and stuff that are around in that time. You wanted those sort of girls.
Sunny.
Yeah. Let's not get started on that thread, shall we? At the end of the day, he probably would have looked at her and said, "Oh, we can't really we just use this weird woman who's like crazy and all this crap." So I don't think she would have done that well, and I don't think as the woman that she is now would have enjoyed the fucking ton of evening gown matches and bra and panties matches.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. It was... You could get good women's wrestling there, but you had to... I mean, even Trish and Lita had bra and panties matches and stuff like that, so you had to get through all that side of it.
All the filler to get through to it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know if she would have done so well. I'm pretty sure she would not have done as well as she has done now. Brock Lesnar is the last on this list, and man, he would have done fantastic. And the reason is, he's a jacked up guy. And you know what Vince likes? Jacked up
guys.
Yeah, he would have looked at him.
Why? Because he's a big motherfucker.
Yeah. He would have looked at his physique and his athleticism, and Vince would have almost come in his pants and said, "I'm signing you up now. I ain't letting you go to WCW. Fuck that. You're coming to me." And he would have signed Lesnar on the spot, and Lesnar would have been all over the show decimating people. I've got absolutely no... Lesnar's always done best looking like a monster, Look at this guy who's decimating someone. So he might have slapped a bad gimmick on him, but that was kind of going out of the fashion at that time anyway. So Lesnar would have done great. Lesnar would have done awesome because he's big, he's big and jacked. Trent Gine writes that Reigns isn't ready for the main event of WrestleMania. The Rumble should have ended with Bryan and Reigns having a drag-out battle with Roman eventually winning, and that all of that. The way that they did the Rumble, pretty much damaged Roman Reigns. My answer to that, my rebuttal to that is absolutely. I fully agree with you. I think if Reigns had won by eliminating Daniel Bryan last, he still would have got booed, but I don't think it would have been as bad. I think. I don't know. The thing is, right? I think one of the main reasons why people booed, right, was because It was almost
Brian had a bullshit elimination,
yeah,
and it was a bullshit finish.
Yeah, well, like the fact alongside of it is that the ideal way of doing it, which obviously doesn't go with the Royal Rumble theme, they should have done it so the last two in the Royal Rumble match had a singles match, and whoever won that wins the entire thing. Obviously, that would have been the perfect thing for Reigns, but obviously they're not changing the rules. But I think the main reason why the fans were booing is because Brian was getting pushed aside so easily, like he was an afterthought. That's how it seemed like. So yeah, Reigns would have got booed. I don't think it would have been nearly as much of an issue, however. So we'll see how we're going from there. But if they actually had a proper fight with each other and along those lines, then maybe things would have been a bit easier for the guy.
I don't know. I'm not terribly convinced. I think it would have been booed regardless. I think it would sort of been an equal amount because it's just sort of like, well, what a shock. We're getting Reigns because that's what we think. That's because they think that we won.
Yeah. I tell you what, it didn't help because the crowd had festered on Bryan's elimination in the Rumble for so long, and it never got better; it just got worse. So the ending of the Rumble sucked anyway, with them just knocking people out that we wanted to win.
Oh, it's just bullshit. Just Kane and Big Show, just dunk.
Yeah.
By Ziggler, dunk. By Ambrose.
Now, I think it maybe would have been a lot better if the last four you had were all faces. You know, you've got Bryan, you've got Reigns, you've got Ambrose and Ziggler, and they're the last four and all staring each other down. People would have been a lot more excited about that, you know, but...
Oh, there'd have been energy to it.
But still, I agree with you there about, though. He would have been booed at the end regardless. It's just how the level of the match... You know, it wouldn't have been nearly as uncomfortable because you've got over half of the Royal Rumble is people booing. You know, and it's like, whoa, that's really uncomfortable. And it came to a crescendo of awkwardness when he finally won, and they're like, oh. And the Rock is looking out to everyone.
Exactly. I was just about to say, and it's just like, quick, we need to save this. Go, Rocky!
Yeah. I can only imagine what was going through Rock's face when he was looking at all the crowd, everyone's booing them. He's like, oh, fuck. They really messed this shit up, didn't they? Oh, dear. Moving on. Alex Wrestling, of the Wrestling Boom blog, asks us to talk about a little bit about factions, namely Immortal or Nexus. We will talk a little bit about factions. I cannot talk about Immortal because I didn't cover TNA in those days, but we can most certainly talk about the Nexus. We did cover the Nexus during those days.
Who was in Immortal?
There you go. I can't really say for sure.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was a faction.
Yeah, well, we don't cover TNA.
Main Event Mafia, that's all I know.
Yeah. I think Immortal did go against Main Event Mafia, or maybe it was the New Blood. I don't know, they've had so many factions. But we'll talk about...
Season 8, I know them, I know those guys.
Yeah. Nexus. You've got a hoodie with Nexus on it, so...
Yep.
You still got it, haven't you?
I do.
You do? That's cool. Yeah.
I was wearing it the other day because it's probably my warmest of hoodies.
Oh, very good, yeah. So we talk about the Nexus, but the idea of Nexus was fantastic. And it really made things like that. Their debut was very memorable. I remember watching it, just being like, what the fuck's going on? And the way that the commentary went off.
Trashed everything.
Yeah, it was I thought their debut was great. I thought it was awesome. And they were trashing the ring. It felt like an invasion, and WWE just got sucker punched by all these New Blood guys.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, what a platform for these guys to become new stars. What a platform for these guys to be instantly thrust into the main event picture and to learn huge experience. And, you know, they're going to be going up against lots of experienced guys that can teach them how to deal with these main event situations. But it quickly became about John Cena going into Super Saiyan mode.
Oh, yeah, it did get sour.
Yeah. And eventually it got to a point where John Cena was just basically beating them all on his own. And as soon as it got to that point, that to me, the idea of the Nexus was dead. And it never got past that.
There was that whole sort of like, and he's now part of the team. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. It's like,
see, that was a good idea, having Cena as part of the team. I like that, him taking the...
I liked it, but then it's just like, oh, here we go.
And that infamous him getting fired, you know, for not, you know, costing Randy Orton the belt against Barrett. And then, like, oh, he just come back. Though he never missed a week of television after being fired. And that sticks in my memory so much, because it's like every typical firing nowadays. They just come back. It's just really bad. Yeah, and then they had the new Nexus artists. I don't count that, really. The group was dead. The group was dead after SummerSlam. Let's just be honest, right? The minute that this brand new threat and their big fight against WWE got beaten by John Cena after being DDT'd on the concrete outside and no-selling it, essentially.
Yeah.
That was the moment the Nexus idea died, because anything after that was just not going to work. And that's it, basically. They fed, a huge batch of new guys to John Cena.
Yeah.
All in one go. And
especially the worst part is, do you think, how many people in the Nexus are still around? 3?
Well, you've got a few. You've got...
4.
I
nearly forgot about Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, you got Bryan, who obviously was in.
But the fact that he was barely in the Nexus.
Yeah. You got, what was it? Bryan, Barrett, Ryback, Young.
That's it.
And all the rest of them are gone. There might be one that I may be forgetting.
Oh,
Gabriel's gone.
No. What's his? The lawyer.
Oh, Otunga, yeah. Well, he's barely around anymore anyway, let's just be honest.
He's gone.
Yeah.
He's not even in the Battle Royale at Mania.
He's not even featured or anything along those lines. But yeah, it's... Yeah, you could say, they got a few stars out of it, but I think they could have done better. The Nexus idea could have been taken much further, but it became, in their first big match, where they were both supposed to make a statement about, we are the Nexus, you're either Nexus or against us, and they're defeating people, destroying people. They should have won at SummerSlam. I've always said that they should have won at SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah.
And
it was a wasted moment where it's just sort of like, yes, oh, what a shock. Cena again.
And it was in that time where Cena was just doing that to everyone. He's doing it now, really.
Just 1-on-7, just pretty much one man against them all.
Even with the new Nexus coming up with CM Punk being in control, Cena came in and eliminated all the members of the Nexus on his own in a Royal Rumble match. That was just wrong. It's 4 against 1, guys. Just do the fucking math. Yes. If you want to do it somewhere else, so maybe he comes in where there's lots of people coming in and attacking them, and the Nexus are kind of battered, and John Cena comes in and does the final blows and eliminates lots of them. But it wasn't like that. He just fought all 4 of them in the ring on his own.
Yeah, you and you. Let's go.
Yeah.
What?
I found it very frustrating, but...
Yeah. I mean, it's the one part I hated the most was actually that TLC match where Cena just, buried Barrett under all those chairs. I was just like... The fuck?
And basically intentionally burying any chance of that guy becoming a main event for the next couple of years. And look at him now, he's just... Yeah, he's doing well for himself, but I mean, he's just losing tons of TV matches as the IC champion. It's... Barrett could have been a world champion. And I firmly agree. I reckon you should have gone it with full force. You should have had Nexus win at SummerSlam. You should have had Wade Barrett become WWE champion. You should have John Cena as part of the Nexus. Build up to a huge crescendo. So that means Nexus almost has everything. And then if you really want to paint John Cena as this guiding light, then you can paint then a redemption story of him trying to rot the Nexus from the inside, and things are happening to the Nexus here and there. Not just 1 week he just decimates all of them. That's fucking stupid. But
it's just and done. All of this.
Yeah, it was quite frustrating. Anyway, Murish Moore says that he's attending a Mania tour in London. Not London, sorry. We're doing London. He's doing Dublin. Dublin he's doing in a couple of weeks. And beforehand, he was at another event. He let us know what happened there, so I'm asking you to do it again. Tell us, if anything cool happened there. And I imagine Sheamus will probably be part of that show as well. So hopefully Balor as well. That would be good if they send Balor over for that tour. They should do, really.
Yeah.
They should do, really. And
they'd be stupid not to.
Tell you what you do. You do Balor and Neville. Just send those guys over for the live tours. I imagine people will buy to see Balor versus Neville. I'm telling you that now. So
I would.
I would pay a lot of money to see that. Kane St. Dennis says that although it's hugely unlikely that CM Punk would ever make nice with WWE, would we like to see him become a member of the commentary team? Now, my answer to that is I think for at very least the next 5 years the WWE ship for CM Punk has sailed, and I think there's no chance of him going back in the next 5 years.
I don't know, because I recently saw an interview with Punk, and it was just like, any chance of you coming back? And he's just like, never. Not even trying to sugarcoat it, just hell no.
I am less likely to think of that because, I mean, Trips is going to come in charge, so maybe he doesn't want any part of that. But I mean, everyone has said that, right? Everyone has said that. Eventually, you miss the ring, right? And maybe he does really great in UFC and doesn't want to. That's why I say, at very least for the next 5 years, I just don't see Punk coming back in any capacity at all.
Yeah.
But maybe after.
Look at Lesnar. He went. He's like, done now. Leave.
Yeah.
Do something else. UFC.
Yeah.
And then sort of just like, you know what? I can come back.
Yeah.
I can make money.
Worse shots have been fired to WWE by wrestlers, and WWE has taken them back. So,
Well,
Yeah.
one of them's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there is that. But yeah, if he were to come back and he only wanted to come back in a commentary capacity, then definitely he's a great commentator. He's better than the three they have. Right? He's not. I don't think he's better in Michael Cole's role, because Michael Cole's role is much different than Booker T's and JBL's. Oh, yeah. Michael Cole is the ringleader of the circus, shall we say? And I don't think CM Punk would enjoy that role, plugging all this shit. He would have to be on one of the color commentator roles. Is he better than JBL? Definitely. Would you?
By far better JBL. I was just about to have a little flashback. Like, you remember when everyone had the vote of confidence and like Punk stuck around? It's like, can I wear the jacket?
Yeah.
It's like, you could be commentary. The jacket, yay!
Part of his pipe bomb promo is that he said, even on commentary, no one can touch me. And you know what? There was some merit to what he said. He was hugely entertaining on commentary. Hugely entertaining.
Yeah.
And when you've got a star, like a former star, I mean, you've got JBL and Booker T talking, but the majority of what they say is trash, and sometimes it's even hard to understand. With CM Punk talking, there was some legitimacy to what he was saying, and you felt as if, like, okay, when he's talking about these guys, he wrestled them recently. There was something about that endeared me to his commentary.
He sort of knows how they work.
Yeah.
He's been on the receiving end.
It's like JBL can't really talk that much about Kofi Kingston in the ring because he never wrestled him,
Yeah.
Or he hasn't for ages. At least CM Punk did, just felt that way. Not that I would want wrestlers, he was obviously only in that role because he was injured, but still, if I had the choice to take him on commentary, I would definitely swap him out for Booker or JBL easily. Ideally, this is the way you want to do it. You want to do Michael Cole in the middle, Renee Young on the right, CM Punk on the left.
Yeah.
Do it. That's fresh, different, awesome. But obviously, that's dream booking on what we want in the future. Because CM Punk ain't coming back anytime soon. Renee Young maybe will go into that role, and I hope she does, but still. Alfie Young asks, because we were talking about the idea of Divas tag titles last week. We weren't saying that we were going to do them. It was just we brought them up in a reference. He was just asking, just in general, why there isn't Divas tag team championships. There's multiple reasons. The first one being is that there's not enough Divas capable of wrestling to actually have those belts. Let's look at your talent that you could trust to have a good match. You've got the 4 at WrestleMania, so you've got the Bella Twins, you've got Paige, you've got AJ Lee, you've got Natalya, and then after that it gets a bit fucking sketchy at the moment.
Naomi?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. You could have Alicia Fox can do a good match too. She has the sexiest Northern Light suplex I've seen, but not exactly that prominently featured. So you've got wrestlers, but let's face it, that isn't enough to make a tag team roster. You need, at very least, I'd say, you need about 5-6 teams at least to make that, and that ain't gonna happen, right? The other reasons as well is that WWE's general problems with just championships in general at the moment. They need to focus on the ones they have before adding ones in, and the idea of having Divas tag titles is just completely low on their list. And I firmly believe that if they did, let's say they did implement a Divas tag team division now, I would state you would be subject to a lot of horrific wrestling. I really do. Because they would start forcing people together that aren't ready. And you'd start seeing the likes of... Imagine if you had a tag team of Cameron and Eva Marie going for the Diva... Oh, God, I don't even want to think of it. It's horrendous.
Stop talking.
Yeah. That's the stuff made of nightmares, right?
To talk of it will make it exist.
The creative are listening to our show and they're thinking of things, how to punish us for such blasphemy against their show. But there's lots of reasons why there isn't Divas tag titles. I've said this before, that WWE don't need to implement any new championships until they fix the ones they've got. And you know what? With the plans that seem to be on the table, they could go some style. But me and Matt have been burned so often about getting excited about them treating the IC and the US titles with more prestige, and then it just, in a couple of months, it just goes back to the same shit, and we're like, why did we ever get excited for it? But that's why we're a bit cynical than most. But I agree that there's at least a little bit going for them at the moment. Nick Munier, I've lost your question. No, it isn't here. Okay. He says that he attended a house show recently, and Tyler Breeze and Bo Dallas were teaming up, and they used a catchphrase of "all you've got to do is Bo Breeze." And he used that as a reference to how Prince Pretty will be used when he gets onto the main roster, because I said he'd probably get gimmicked up to high heaven. Yep. That's pretty much how Vince is going to use him.
Oh, and I bloody hope that's not the case.
He's way better than that. Way better. He's a crazy good wrestler. But still. Subscriber 241 asks, and I go, wait a minute, your name is subscriber 241, we're close to that. Did you write your name as the subscriber count for the name of our show? And if so, that's awesome. I like that. So, yeah, if that is the case, just leave a comment saying, yeah, I actually named it after that. I will be like, that's awesome, I like that. And you're 241 on our list. Wait, we'll get a message back. Actually, no, it's for another podcast. Nothing to do with you guys. Just, that's what it is. They ask, what is our favourite wrestler from NXT? And I think me and Matt will answer the same. And let's go on 3. Are you ready? Are you ready, Matt?
We go.
Ready? We go 1, 2, 3, then the name. Are you ready?
Okay.
Well, 1, 2, 3. Finn
Neville.
Balor. Oh, you didn't get it right. Ah, come on. All right, I thought you would. Okay, so you'll go with Neville.
Mate, it's close. Very. Oh, don't make me choose a favourite from NXT.
Oh, you've already said it now.
You're a terrible human.
Yeah, I was about to say. There's a lot to choose from there, especially now. Yeah, why did you say Neville over anyone else? Apart from that, he's a Brit, you know.
He's a Brit,
yeah.
So I gotta be loyal. But then Baylor's Irish, so I guess it's not too far. I love everything about Baylor, but I love watching Neville wrestle.
Yeah,
because he's just. I think Neville is better.
In ring, it's really hard to tell, right? They both bring different things.
It is really difficult to tell. I love the Red Arrow.
The
Red Arrow is beautiful, and he is, as they say, the man gravity forgot. But
would you say that he's got the Bret Hart gene that I always say?
Yeah,
I think he's got the Bret Hart gene.
I mean, hell, I saw him have a half decent match with Brodus Clay.
Yeah, which was hard, at that point in time. Yeah. Now Finn Balor could have the gene, the Bret Hart gene. I do think I think it's because whilst I've seen Balor as Prince Devitt in Indies and all things like that, but I think it's like I've seen more of Neville. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, and he's been consistent over the period of time that he's been in.
Yeah.
The reason I go with Finn Balor is because easily the best entrance in WWE today. Easily the best entrance. And he is extremely technically sound. He knows his stuff. The one thing that is lacking a little bit is his promo work, and he will need to work on that, but that's why he's in NXT. Even though he won't be for long, I don't think.
Did you see that picture that was going around of him with
Paul Heyman?
Yeah. And it's just a single word, tempting. I
don't think that's a Baylor Heyman partnership.
I wouldn't like it.
No, I think Baylor.
I saw so many people in the comments section of that photo just like splooging all over their keyboards over it, and I'm just like, whilst it would be good, no.
The only guy at the moment which would make sense to become a Paul Heyman guy is Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
but no, Balor just needs to do his thing. Doesn't need to. If you go with Paul Heyman, you're going to be heel, right? There's nothing. I think that the big money to be made in Balor is as a face. Huge baby face. I don't think you have.
You say that? Are you pretty sure you want to comfortably say? I know he is meant to be Lesnar's heel.
Yeah, but I think the difference is being right. Balor is like he's got the dark, cool thing going on, almost a little bit Undertaker-esque, you know.
Yeah.
I think if you were to take Balor and make him heel, I think a lot of the part of his entrance and a lot of his deal just doesn't come over as much. I think that the whole deal of it, people want to see his entrance. When you've got a heel, people don't want to see, Lesnar's the exception, along those lines. But I just think there's huge money to be made. I've always said, as soon as I saw Balor, I said, money. He's money. Absolute cha-ching! Vince should look at him and think, you're going to make me a shit ton of money. And I think the best way to do that is to get him to sell.
You there, make me money.
Yeah. And, best way to do that, make him a face, make him prominent on the show, and sell a bunch of his t-shirts, because I guarantee you, if they're selling t-shirts of Finn Balor, Finn Balor's t-shirt, at the event that we're going to in London, I am buying that shit on the fucking spot, because it's awesome, and that's the way that it should be booked. But, yeah. And, by the way, Balor did lose to Owens this week in a very it was an okay match. Well, it was a good match, but it was the championship match, and it was almost like
Still haven't seen it yet.
But it was almost like it was to get it out of the way. And why would you say that was to get it out of the way? Because the guy's going to be debuting the Raw after WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure he will be. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a moment where, they're going to introduce a new wrestler onto the roster. The lights will go out, and you'll have Finn Balor there, and the guy's going to be painted up.
Just like someone cutting a promo or something, and just sort of like all the lights cut out, and then suddenly all you hear is,
yeah.
Oh,
hell, Matt! I tell you,
goosebumps already.
I tell you what, right? The ideal way that you would do it, right, is that you'd have Wyatt beat the Undertaker, and people may think that's blasphemous, but Undertaker's at the end of his career. Wyatt hasn't won a fucking match in God knows how long. He needs to beat Undertaker. Then afterwards, I'm the new face of fear. No demon can. I've sent him down to hell. What?
You son of a bitch! I pitched this to you, and you're like, nah, too soon.
No. The thing is,
I bloody pitched this to you like 3 days ago.
But I had time to stew in it, okay? And I realised it was a good idea. Yeah, you have him against Wyatt as a first thing to go forward. The whole thing of how I control all this darkness, and then what's the one thing he doesn't control? The Irish demon comes out and batters him to all high heaven. Then you've got a starting rivalry for the guy, and that's quite high maintenance. Quite big for him there. The one thing you'd say about that then is that the reason I say he has to be Undertaker is because if you've got Wyatt losing against Undertaker and then you put him in a program with Balor, then it's like, well, he's going to have to lose again because Balor has to win his debut rivalry, and then we're into the same problem where Wyatt's just losing all of his rivalries again, just losing all the time.
But then after I pitched that to you, I've had time to think, and it's just like, do we really need a face of fear and a demon running around the roster?
Yeah, there is that. The thing is, right, is that, listen, this is all going down to our predictions. I don't think Bray Wyatt's beating Undertaker. I think Undertaker will beat him. That's a little bit of spoiler for our predictions. So if using that as logic, they ain't going to do Balor against Wyatt. But it's just something that they could do. But there we go. But yeah, Finn Balor, as far as I've heard, in terms of both our picks, Neville's due to come up. They just haven't got enough plans for him yet, which is worrying.
Yeah.
But that's what you... I don't want to say that's what you get for not being as enigmatic as Balor, but not a lot of people can be as enigmatic as Balor. The whole entrance, the whole thing that he brings to the table is just far beyond a lot of others. We said that about Hideo Itami. As much as we love him, it's like, who would you put on the main roster out of the two of them that's going to have the biggest impact? It's going to be Balor.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just be honest. Like, in terms of presentation, Itami's got nothing on the guy. Let's just be honest. And Neville's kind of the same. Even though I like Neville's shtick with the whole blueprints, on his Timetrons, and doing the math and stuff about him, the man that gravity forgot, coming out with the the dry ice and all that lot. So yeah, it's both of them should be on the main roster soon. Hopefully we can get another match like the pair of them had at the last NXT special, because at the moment that is the was that this year that they had it, or was it the end of last year that they
What's
had
that?
it? The match that Neville... It was last year. I remember talking about it because we were like, well, if we had done our awards, that probably would have got it. Match of the year. Balor against Neville.
Yeah.
Because that was something very, very special right there. That's all of our questions this week. If you do want to leave a question to us, then you can leave it at TalkWrestlePod, which is our Twitter handle. You can also leave it in the comment section below. And I do like the fact that some of you are also talking to each other about certain things. Keep the debate going. I tell you what, if there's enough ideas for debate, we may have to add a Facebook page on top of our Twitter handle. Just see what people think about that, if they would like to do that. Fail of the week! Fail of the week. And you know what, Matt? I thought about this one, and I've made it Wrestlemania themed. It is a WrestleMania fail, and it involves fans, multiple fans, being injured. Oh yeah, do I have your attention now? Oh, do I have your attention now? About to drop a pipe bomb. No, obviously. WrestleMania 24 is, in my regard, one of my favourite WrestleManias. I said this before, we had a question about what's our favourite WrestleManias. Yep. That was one of them. I love that WrestleMania for multiple reasons. It was a great Mania, the main event being Edge against Undertaker. We've always said that match as well is hugely underrated. When everyone talks about matches that Undertaker had that were fantastic, you normally get the two against Triple H, they talk about the two against Michaels, the recent ones. I would go back and say the one he had against Edge stands up against a lot of them very easily.
Oh, yeah.
It was very, very good. Taker wins the world title. At the end, he does his thing onto the one knee, raises his hand with the belt in his hand, all the fireworks go off. And back then they had these 2 lines, right? That were basically like fireworks down the line towards the Titantron. Looked really cool, almost like it's powering up the Titantron sort of thing. It did look cool.
Oh, yeah, it was good.
The left wire does exactly what it needs to do. The right wire snaps and it sends fireworks into the crowd. This led to fans...
Yes.
Yeah. This led to fans being injured, and you can find video footage of it happening. It's blurry, of course, because it was just done on someone's phone. But, yeah, people were injured. It was another incident involving Pyro and The Undertaker, even though he's kind of less involved here. He was just around. But if you remember before, in his Elimination Chamber match, The Undertaker got burned, just flat out burned, by his Pyro, and almost killed someone backstage, in terms of who dealt with that. And yeah, the fans got damaged here, and that's one of the biggest things that I think is WWE needs to be hugely careful about, obviously, is that when they're doing these big elaborate fireworks things, you've got to make sure it's safe. And, at the end of the day, they could have known this could be a freak accident for all we know, but still, that's pretty dodgy having... apparently there was like tens of people getting injured by the fireworks that were set off. Because these are no small little jobbies, not firecrackers.
Oh,
these
it's
are
not
fucking...
a little explosion. It's like a proper... Well, it's a Mania pyro.
Yeah, exactly, At the end of the day, you do not want that being fired into your crowd. And I imagine there was a few issues in regards to that, but... yeah, fail of the week. Go find it. Type it up, WrestleMania 24 fireworks. You probably will come up straight away. You can find video footage, and you can find also people talking about the reasons why it snapped and stuff like that. It's all kind of in regards to, it's all, no one's going to know. It could have just been a freak accident, but still it happened. And it's ironic because that part of the show obviously wasn't shown because the show on our televisions had ended by that point. So it's quite funny in regards to that. So, not that it's funny that people get injured. Don't misconstrue that. It's just.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jesus.
Wow, I'm getting dark all of a sudden. Talking about Balor. Finn Balor getting me all dark and all that stuff. Okay, Raw review. Now, I'm going to warn people here. Our Raw review will be a little bit quicker than the most because the majority of stuff that we've talked about the build-up with WrestleMania. We've talked about it, we'll reference some of it, but we're not going to go into as much detail as we did before, and obviously we've got our predictions at the end of the show. But this is the go-home show for WrestleMania 31, the final chance that WWE has to their mainstream audience, of course, that they should buy the network or buy WrestleMania on pay-per-view, as it's one of the big events still being pushed for pay-per-view at the moment. And this is WWE's idea. WrestleMania should be a huge part for them to try and get new subscribers for the network. And they will get a boost because it is WrestleMania. But we'll see how their numbers go. We haven't had much news in terms of their numbers recently. I'm sure that quarterly call is coming up soon, so we'll have a think of that. But yeah, it's a massive week for WWE. They're gonna all their talent's gonna have tons. I mean, fucking tons of media appearances. You're gonna have the Access. You're gonna have the Hall of Fame. You're gonna have the pre-show. You're gonna have WrestleMania. You're gonna have the post-show. Me and Matt are swamped with the amount of stuff we need to watch for. Well, obviously, part of us wants to watch it, but now we've got the podcast. It's more like we're definitely gonna watch it. So it's from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, and as far as I can remember now, do correct me here. It's just the first time I've noticed it. It's the first Raw I've seen that they've used the LED apron. Yeah. I don't remember.
I noticed that. And do you know what the worst thing is? I didn't notice it until right at the end on Ziggler's entrance.
Yeah. But I mean, the whole LED apron thing is, NXT's been doing that for ages. So, you expect it to be coming up anyway. I haven't got a problem with it. It's fine with me. I imagine it's going to be a little bit cheaper for them now. They don't have to keep making new aprons. They can just put that LED thing in there and just have a thing to pop up. So it may be expensive from the get-go, but it'll be cheaper in the long run. One of the main reasons why they do the HD set and they don't have any sort of sets for their pay-per-views now is because it's cheaper. They can, just put that set, move around a few of the screens. That's pretty much it. That's why you don't see these elaborate huge sets that we used to love, but they just don't do anymore. But interested to see what the set
sucks.
Yeah, like the WrestleMania 30 stage is one of the best stages I've seen in all of wrestling. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And I hope WrestleMania 31 picks up on that. I'm not too sure it will, but I hope it does. Oh, so of all people that should grace the opening of this show and make it unmissable television right from the get-go, it is the icon, the vigilante, known as Sting. He actually opens up the show this week, and he takes the mic. Now, this is the first time on Raw he has spoken. He did speak last week, but it was all on the network, you know, and you had to have the network to actually see it. But he actually grabs the mic here, and he shows pretty much from the get-go, and I said this to Matt throughout the week, with his speaking ability here, that it's been a huge shame he hasn't got a mic in front of him prior to this week, because he was very, very good.
Oh, it delivers so well.
One of the things I said, and a lot of people don't give him enough props for this, he is a good promo. Sting is good on the mic, right? It's ironic considering for large portions of his character back in WCW days, he was told not to speak at all. But he's a good promo, you know.
You are the quiet one. It's like, oh.
But he starts off, he's saying he knows he's been known as a WCW soldier. But since all, you know, WCW falling down, Triple H has clawed and cheated his way to the top of the WWE. And that he's the last soldier standing in a long forgotten war. And he's not fighting for WCW, as it would be ridiculous. He's fighting for one reason, to make Triple H pay for, you know, take him out, is essentially what he's saying.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that he did pretty much put in there that, you know, yeah, I was a soldier for WCW, but it would be pointless fighting for them now. I like that they added that in, because otherwise it'd be like, what war are you fighting?
Yeah.
There's a little bit.
It's like Sting's going to be nothing more than like those crazy Japanese soldiers still in the jungle.
Yeah.
Like 60 years later, just like, it's over.
I found that analogy on another podcast. I can't remember who it was, but it's funny that you said that. Yeah, it's like, because it's like those are tons of memes around, isn't there? It's like, oh wait, you're not the beat down clan. So yeah, all that stuff. But I thought his speech was really cool. It was very intense. And he said he outlined his desires, what he wants to do, where he's been from, in literally about 2 minutes. And I was like, why can't they do this every week? But of course, we don't have enough needless exposition on the opening of the show, so Stephanie McMahon needs to fill that void. She comes on out and speaks needless exposition.
That's it.
Essentially what she
I'm
said.
here to bring stuff.
So she congratulates Sting on finally making it to the big time, the WWE. And then Sting fires back saying Steph is a spoiled brat who didn't earn anything that she has, but it's still nice to meet her.
Yeah, kind of true.
Yeah. I mean, Sting has a way of politely saying fuck you in character while still being, you know, nice.
Yeah.
You know? He essentially said fuck you and it's like, oh, but, you know, it's still nice to meet you. Still nice to meet you. So, I actually like that part of the promo. That was pretty good. Steph says, oh, well, you're just intimidated by me. And compares Sting to a stupid dog, as Sting lost the Monday Night War with WCW, and that he's a face-painted freak. And I would argue, you're damn right he's a face-painted freak. That's why we like him.
That's it.
That's part of the appeal. Stephanie goes for the slap, but gets blocked. This brings out Triple H, who is very annoyed that Sting laid hands on his woman. So he gets up, gets ready to fight, and then Steph grabs the sledgehammer, looking really fucking menacing. I imagine there's
it's like proper creepy. It's just sort of like bringing herself above the lip of the apron. It's like, hello, look what I found. Eh?
Yeah, it was. I mean, that face was priceless, shall we say? Quite freaky. But then she grabs the sledgehammer, gives it to Triple H, and then Sting whips out his bat, which I know sounds very sexual. I do not mean it to be that way.
Yeah.
Triple H decides, you know what? You've got a bat, I've got a sledgehammer, you know, we'll just do this another time. And it just kind of backs out after a while, even though Sting is gunning, you know, he's chomping at the bit to get to Triple H at this point. And I like Sting's aggressive nature. I mean, it kind of puts over the rivalry a lot more. And I tell you what, out of all the WrestleMania rivalries that they have at the moment, this is probably one of the best booked. So,
oh yeah,
I have enjoyed the build up to it. And Sting, like I said, man, he was great on the mic this week. He was good. You know, and I hope going forward that they, you know, because they want to build up the mysterious. I know why they didn't give him a mic. Going forward, you know, even if he's not going to wrestle another match, which I think he will do, even if he doesn't wrestle another match, he needs to have a mic in front of him because he's got stuff to give on the mic. He's good. He's good on the mic. How do you think of this opening segment? I thought it was very good.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was great, and then suddenly it's just sort of like, I was like, of course Triple H is going to back away from it. Otherwise, it's just sort of like, wait, we're just going to give you Mania now.
And what a way to start up your show, by having Sting on your show.
Oh god, yeah, it was great.
It's a lot different from having...
It's not even just... It wasn't even like stick around in like an hour's time because we'll have Sting.
Yeah,
it's just like, bam, they're opening the show.
Literally, like a couple of seconds into the opening of the show, you hear the crow go off and all that lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great way to open the show. And I tell you what, when you got I think the show beforehand was like Seth Rollins talking to Big Show and all that lot. It's like... You know, that's just the two different sides of the spectrum. You can have tons of needless exposition, which was the week before, or you can have a really kick-ass, short 2-minute speech that is aggressive, gets over the feud, outlines Sting's position. In terms of promos, Sting was like a sprint runner. He just got through his stuff really quickly, really well, didn't overstay his stuff. Perfect. Or really, really good. I think that their creative need to look at this. And the fan, because it wasn't too long, the fans were always still pumped up for it, you know? They were still pumped up for every word he was saying because he wasn't talking for 10 minutes, you know? You can't expect the fans to be totally into everything for 10 minutes and pop to everything that he says. Only someone like The Rock can do that. And
that's it.
You know...
Well, the only thing that comes to mind, thinking of like WrestleMania season, is just like the only thing... Like, it's not The Rock, Austin, and Hogan.
Yeah. Which was amazing. It was like, was it 30 minutes to start the show?
Half an hour. It's like, and I don't even care.
That was the quickest half an hour in WrestleMania history, because I honestly looked at the time, I was like, what? What? I thought that was like a 5-minute promo. How was that 30 minutes? Good stuff. That got our award last year, didn't it? It did.
For segment
of the year. Dean Ambrose and R-Truth against Stardust and Luke Harper. Wade Barrett is on commentary, obviously feeling safe that there's no possible way that he could underperform Truth on commentary. You know,
that's it. It's sat there with his belt. So it's like, I finally have my damn title.
Yeah, exactly. Commentary, as you know, as you kind of come accustomed to at the moment, barely talk anything about the match itself.
Quite distracted, yeah.
But at least they're not talking about potatoes. They're talking about Barrett and his championship. So at least I'll give him a little bit of a... It's on
topic.
Yeah, it's on topic at least. R-Truth picks up the win. It's an okay match. It's an okay starter. But it leads to an impromptu dance-off between himself and Dean Ambrose. And I shook my head at Ambrose and was like, that's a shameful display.
It's like, why, Dean? Why?
Why do you have to do that? Come on. You lost some cool points right there, dude.
You were the chosen one.
Yeah, you were the chosen one, Dean. What the hell going on? Yeah, it was a little bit like that, but still. Yeah. It would have been great if after dancing, Dean just dirty deeds him, but I guess I was waiting for that moment at the end of the show.
Yeah.
The vote for this week is, who will Orton's opponent be? Will it be The Big Show? Will it be Kane or Rollins with J&J Security? And it's one of those ones that are like, is anyone really going to vote for Big Show and Kane? No, that's why they put them there.
This is the most blatantly obvious one. Why would you pick anything else?
They may as well have a big sign against the one that they want and just flash it and say, pick this, pick this, pick this. Because essentially it's what they're doing by putting that.
Well, at least it was more of a choice rather than like that one with Jericho and Heyman. It's like, that's all the same match.
No holds barred, no DQ, street fight. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, that's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I do get what you mean, but I mean, it's another WWE app vote. I feel sorry for people that genuinely vote on that stuff, because I'm just like, come on, really? Come on. I would love one week that the fans get behind it.
There was only one that I could think was like the one later on in Raw. I was just sort of like, me. I know who they're gonna vote. I know who's gonna win, but it's like, I probably wouldn't have voted for him.
Yeah. I think I know where you're going with that. We'll talk about that obviously when it comes up. But yeah, I would love if the fans just banded together and like on Twitter before the show,
gave us Big Show.
Yeah, they'll just vote for something that isn't the obvious one. Just really fuck up with WWE's plans. But obviously,
just like if the vote comes up and you really want to vote for this one thing, don't.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, right, listen, even if you do vote for something that WWE doesn't want to do, they'll put out the results they want. Yeah, they did it for the Slammies. No one voted for Roman Reigns to be Superstar of the Year. Guarantee you that, but still. Renee Young. Go on, sorry.
I know I didn't.
Renee Young, who is fastly becoming, since Lana's been gone, my new... I like you, Renee. She's do you like Renee?
Your new blonde.
My new blonde, yeah. You know what? I've always liked Lillian Garcia because I think she looks like she's a classy lady. You know, not that all the divas aren't classy, but she's exceptionally classy. I look at Renee Young like the same thing. Like, you're a classy lady. I want to talk to you and pick your brains. Yeah, you're a good-looking girl, but you've got skills, you've got talents, you've got so much going for you.
But I could hold a 5-minute conversation.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you what, I would love if we could interview Renee Young on this show. Interview the interviewer. I'd like to do that. Come on, guys, let's get this show going. You know, get it more popular. We'll try and get Renee Young as much as we can, anyway. See, we'll be fighting over who interviews her, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, that would be true.
Very dreamy. She introduces the global ambassadors and athletes performing in the Special World Games. I think they're almost like the.
I'm pretty sure they used the word Olympics.
They did, but it was the World Games, so I think they might have got confused there.
But there's that one moment where there's just like that happened, and I was like, oh, I'm going to hell because I had Stephen Lynch playing in my head.
Oh God! Don't bring that up now. Don't bring that up. I was going to say here that they're doing really great. You know, it's a good day. I like the fact they got a good fan response.
Jump into the pool.
Oh God!
You're
going to hell.
I couldn't. I was just like, I'm going to hell.
Yeah. You are going to hell.
I am a terrible individual.
At least you'll be going with Paul Heyman, so
that's fine.
Yeah, I like the fact they got a good response. The guys and gals here.
Oh yeah, I loved it. Yeah. Especially considering it definitely just shows us like, hey guys, we're not some faceless, heartless corporation.
Yeah. Well, that's, you know, at the end of the day, I think it's good because obviously the games are going to happen in the area that the show was on, so it should help the games a lot. So that's okay. But yeah, I'm all. That's good that when they do these sort of things. I remember when they showcased some of the breast cancer survivors and sufferers. And stuff.
When they do the awareness month.
Yeah, I like that. I like it when they do that. So, and anyone that says to me, "Oh, I don't want to watch my Raw for this," I look at it and I'm like, well, I tell you what, I'm glad you've had a cushy life when none of your family have had any problems. So, not everyone in the world is so, you know, so lucky in that sense.
Yeah.
Vignette with Roman Reigns. It is a good one, and it's with lots of pictures of him being in NXT and the conversations he's had with Byron Saxton backstage about, oh, you can't win, you can't do this, and all this lot, or what people are saying to him. Yeah, I tell you what, I said they should be airing a ton more vignettes about Roman Reigns, and obviously they are here, so that's all good stuff. Because one of the strengths that WWE has, and I know I've said this before, is their video production side is just pristine.
Second to none.
Yeah. So, yeah, make tons. I want fucking tons of vignettes about.
In fact, on an offshoot of that, I retweeted it actually from WWE, which was like one which was Taker Wyatt.
Yo, yeah, that video promo was very good.
Really good. Like I've said, I'm not too keen because they are using like that Johnny Cash song, but completely as it is, and it's just like, I don't know.
It worked in that promo, in that
vignette.
It
works in that, and then it's just like how it just twists all of a sudden to just Wyatt being a dick, and I love it.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Yeah, I mean, and this is one of the parts where WrestleMania definitely showcases their video production side with all the pre-match stuff. It's going to be good. I mean, some of the ones they did last year, as much as I disliked the Cena Wyatt feud, the actual video package for it was amazing. It was very good. So, yeah. And, you know, when it comes to Wyatt, they've got tons of stock footage of him being creepy that they can use, so it's great.
That's it.
10-man tag team match, player. Holla, holla. Sorry. Had to.
No, the ghost of Teddy still lives on.
It does live on. And it will live on at WrestleMania for the tag team titles. Holla, holla.
With a tag team match.
The tag team match.
A fatal 4-way tag team.
Come on, they should do it for WrestleMania. Just get Teddy Long back to introduce the tag team. Just do it.
Even if it's just super input, like just dub over, like you got Lenny in the ring, and it's like the following contest is a tag team match, and then it cuts back into Lenny.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm game for that. I'm good for that. I tell you what, just get Lillian to do our best Teddy Long impression. She'd do pretty well. So they show a video package before the match, and it's the Miz interviewing Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell, who's in their new movie where Will Ferrell pretends to be a gangster. Yeah, interesting.
Penis joke.
Penis Hart. That fits in right well with our show, doesn't it? Really, so isn't it?
was pissing in the wind.
Yeah, all those shameless pay-per-view plots we've always gone down.
Especially considering it's just like it's with. Like, they never mentioned at it, but it's like, considering Miz was recently in a Viagra commercial, it can't get hard.
Yeah. Oh, man, yeah, they didn't make any reference to that.
No mention of that. It's like, come on!
Yeah. Well, maybe that's a little bit too crass, but I imagine they went past that line when they did a Viagra commercial, but still. Yeah, and they're playing up the angle between Mizdow and Miz, because Mizdow's talking to them, and they seem to like talking to Mizdow, but Miz is like, no, don't talk to him, he's just an assistant and all this lot. So.
Like, what do you do with your stunt doubles that will go above the thing? It's like what you do with the stunt double was just like, oh, is he going above his mark and things like that? It's bizarre. It's just like, we need them. Like, they're kind of important. And it's just like, no.
No, they're just stupid people.
You fetch water. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, guys. Right, tonight, obviously tonight when you guys get this episode, at WrestleMania, the pop for where he finally gets his hit on Miz, will be glorious. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be good. Yeah. So they pop out of that video package, and Bill Simmons is on commentary. I have no idea who he is, but I imagine that he's pretty much
sportsman. Tony, are you not following this?
I don't.
He does sports.
Well, I don't know who he is. I'm only just getting into American sports, but like, for instance, if our American fans wouldn't know Jamie Redknapp, right, and he does a lot of soccer stuff for Sky Sports. You don't know him.
I'm English, and I don't know Jamie Redknapp.
Yeah, you don't know
my name.
Yeah. But you know what I mean. It's just, I'm not like, oh my god, I don't know him.
Argument.
Yeah, but I imagine he's big over in the States, so I've got no problem. But I will say, I thought that anything that added to the commentary was fairly dull. I didn't think it was that good at all. He does, however, say that JBL set the announcing position back 15 years, and I thought that's quite generous, to be honest. He's not on a good streak, is he, JBL? To be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say, back 15 years. Well, I don't really think so, because 15 years ago we would have had King and JR.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's not that. We want it to go back.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, have those guys back. King. I know we've said a lot of bad stuff about Lawler on commentary. Going back on the network and watching some of the old stuff, the guy in his prime on commentary next to Jim Ross,
gold,
right there, really good stuff. So this is the first match I've seen the primetime players and the Ascension involved. And it's like, oh, but they're just extras in a Memorial Battle Royal filler match, so yeah, good for them, I guess. Ryback wins the match after one hell of a meat hook. He almost just took the guy's head off, and then used the shell shock for the victory.
Whichever guy. Who was it on?
I can't remember who it was on. I just remember the guy getting fucking hit hard for that hit. For that meat.
It wasn't one of the Ascension, was it?
No, it wouldn't have been them, I don't think.
So it would have been, and it wasn't a.
Oh, it was Miz.
So it was Adam Rose.
It was Miz. I'm sure it was Miz who got meat hooked. Yeah, it was Miz.
Oh yeah, Mizdow and Adam Rose. Yeah.
So
I was going to say it wasn't the primetime players because their face. Shut up, Matt. Shut up. Focus here.
There's a hole here, and you're digging it. You're digging it. But yeah, it's an okay match. It's just a filler match. At least they're trying to get Ryback over.
Zack Ryder has momentum going into the Battle Royale. Just putting it out there.
I'm not impressed by that statement, I have to admit.
We get to see a broski boot.
Am I one of the only guys that I had my fill of Zack Ryder?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I had my fill of Zack Ryder.
But I quite like how it's like he hasn't been forgotten. Like if he goes out there and fist pumps, he's gonna get a woo woo woo. From the crowd. Right, yeah. I kind of like that he's not forgotten, but I want to see less of him.
Less of him than what we're seeing now. Which
isn't a great. So basically, I want him gone. Less of Ryder. What is less of nothing?
The issue I have with Ryder, let's put that out there now. The issue that I had with Ryder is that there was only so far his current character was going to get him, and he got as far as I was going to go. It was almost like he was unwilling to change.
Buried.
Yeah, then he got buried.
For the sake of a Cena story.
Like, the problem with him as well is that he comes off really goofy, right? I think it's hard to do a serious storyline with the guy because there's a fine line with him between him being aggressive and really getting it over and being looking really fucking stupid. And there was a point. Let's face it, Ryder was never going to get to the prime time. In fact, he was lucky he got to where he was. Not lucky, he earned that spot. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of people went, oh, he should have had his shot. He should have been going. Nah, the guy was never going to be world champion quality. I would not want to see him as world champion.
No.
I would like to see his work better rewarded. And I do think WWE sabotaged his work because they moved his show onto their channel, and that was like suicide because no one was going to watch it.
That's it. And then as a result, they had ultimate control. And
yeah, that's it. But yeah, that's our thoughts on Ryder anyway. Randy Orton is in the ring. He finds out that, of course, he's wrestling Seth Rollins and JJ Security.
He's wrestling Kane, damn it! Because why would you pick the obvious one?
See, if they had picked out Kane or Big Show, right, as the opponent, they would have to have Curtis Axel come out first and plead everyone not to turn over the channel. That's what they would have to do.
Yeah, to be fair, I think I would have probably zoned out if Kane came out.
So
not so much if Kane came out, just like, well, gone.
Oh dear. Yeah, he does have that effect, unfortunately, Big Show, doesn't he?
The man will go into the Hall of Fame, and he's had a very good career. But I can't wait for the day the Big Show goes, right, my size 50 triple E boots or whatever, they're hanging up.
Yeah, hanging up, yeah. Let's talk about that, actually, before we continue. We love the contributions that Kane and Big Show have done. The flat-out fact of it is they're not very entertaining. They're quite boring.
Well, back in the day, they were the best big men.
Yeah, but now there's nothing to them. There could be something to them, but it's just, part of it's the way they're booked, and part of it is just they've just been around too long. Let's just be honest, right? They haven't taken any fucking breaks.
It's only so far that you can sort of go, well, he's like Kane, for example, like he spent 15 years as the devil's favourite demon, and now suddenly it's like, what do we do? New mask.
Kane. Yeah.
Now we've done that. Let's put him in a suit. I don't know.
Yeah, essentially, along those lines. So in this match, right, I found it a bit tedious that commentary is stating, oh, at WrestleMania, Orton will finally get his hands on Rollins. And I'm like, 2 weeks ago, Orton decimated the guy. Absolutely fucking destroyed him.
That's it.
So,
and he's quite a few times managed to get his hands on Rollins.
Exactly. So it's not as if the guy is stunted for opportunities to fight Seth Rollins.
Well, the thing I hate is the fact that J&J are going to get involved in Mania.
They'll
play their part.
Yeah.
But it's just sort of like, I'd quite like if it was just a clean match.
Mm. Yeah, between the two of them, because they could steal the show, the two of them, possibly, but we'll see. I don't think. The problem with this and the Divas match is like it's kind of useless. The match doesn't really mean anything, and we'll get to that with the predictions. But throughout the match, Orton's like he's constantly trying to get to Rollins. You know, he's trying to get in. You know, find Rollins, but Rollins isn't tagging in. So essentially, makes it a handicap squash match because Orton deals with J&J Security very easily. He hits an RKO on Noble, wins the match. It's an okay, serviceable match to build the rivalry. But I would state it's still a rivalry that's already had its resolution. It's had its payoff. So, it makes the match at WrestleMania.
But it's not official, damn it. The bell didn't ring. It can't be a payoff.
Apparently so. Backstage, Paige is with AJ. And she says that Paige calls the Bellas a couple of insufferable slags. And you brought this up to me that's maybe...
Slag.
You slag! They should have got Danny Dyer.
Slag.
Danny Dyer should have said that line for him. He should have just come in. WWE should have paid him, flew him over just for that one line. They're a proper couple of slags. Just do that, you know. That would be entertaining.
Yeah, okay, the moment I was just like, can Paige really call them slags? But it's just like... Because, like, as I said, as we were talking about, it's like I think it's just her British side coming through.
Yeah.
Like, do America really use slag?
I don't think they would look at slag as harshly.
I hear slut a lot on like American TV. I don't think I've ever heard slag.
I think slut is a much worse no than slag over there. Whereas over here, it's kind of the same. Slut and slag is sort of like in the same sort of sort of thing.
Just depends, sort of like. It's like a regional whether you use slut or slag.
Yeah. It's just different cultures, obviously, in the place. So, yeah, I don't think it's a bigger deal that she said slag. Obviously, nothing's come about it, so yeah, that's the way it is. They use bitch, and sorry, bitch is a way harsher word than slag. Let's just be honest, okay. And Paige says, well, she deserves the title shot because apparently Nikki Bella's giving one of them a title shot. They have to decide who. And Paige is like, well, I deserve it because...
It's just like nobody mentions this at all until like they have a backstage segment where they've already decided it.
It is a little bit like they don't have any sort of like talk about, oh, I deserve it here and there, but still. But yeah, Paige is like saying, well, I should deserve it because I've been dealing with them for these past couple of months. And they talk about, okay, we need to talk about this because you'd be crazy to turn down a title match, and crazy is obviously AJ's buzzword, you know.
Trigger word, yeah.
It's almost like she's been brainwashed by the FBI and like
she's a sleeper.
Yeah, you say the word crazy and suddenly she goes out and kills John Lennon or something like that, you know, just like yeah, or maybe you say some other word and she automatically tries to kill the president. I don't know. Maybe AJ is one of these sleeper agents. We just don't know. So yeah, I tell you what, if there's going to be a promo between two divas on the show, it's going to be between AJ and Paige for me. So I wasn't exactly enthralled, but it's okay. I'm alright.
That's it. It served the purpose.
Served the purpose. Paige versus Nikki Bella for the Devious
The Devious title.
Wow, it's getting late. Divas Championship match. And I would say, ladies and gentlemen, did you enjoy your stay in Bizarro World? Good, because we're staying there another week. Here's another 10-minute Diva match. We like Bizarro World. Come to Bizarro
That's
World.
it. I'm getting quite fond of this.
Do you want to get a shirt? Bizarro World? You know,
yeah.
You get a hotel stay in Bizarro World. Stay another week. Hopefully, it will go through until WrestleMania. We'll get a good Divas match instead of a buffer match, which it will be. But anyway, it's ironic that this match here has way more on the line and way more prestige than the actual WrestleMania match. I think that's a huge issue. The fact is that at WrestleMania they're going to have a tag team match between all four of these women
for no purpose.
Yeah, and like, whoever wins doesn't matter.
We don't even know why or what it's for. It's just the Bellas versus the Anti-Divas. Yeah. Or have you heard some of the tag names that they've been trying to come up with for Paige and AJ?
No.
The Legion of Womb.
Oh God! Oh no! No.
I've heard the Legion of Womb. I think it was like the Nation of Menstruation.
Oh, no!
It's just ridiculous.
That is bad. That is really bad. The Nation of Menstruation.
It's the Legion of Womb. I love the Legion of Womb. I think it's the best.
You got me. You got me there. You bastard. Okay, let's try and continue before I get in fits of laughter. Legion of Womb. Fuck. Okay. First of all, let's talk about the match, right? It's a great match. It's a really good match.
Long enough for an ad break.
Long enough for an ad break. 2 weeks in a row, we've had good to great quality matches and entertaining matches as well.
So we're talking like 10-minute matches.
10-minute matches. Both of them were 10 minutes long. Last week and this week.
Well, if you consider with the ads, I think we're probably looking more than that.
No, I think it was timed at roughly about 10 minutes, even including the ads, yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm fine with. That's okay with me.
Yeah, I'm good with a 10-minute match. It's better than a 3-minute fuck-up.
Yeah, definitely. Or the 30 seconds that we had, which have already started this whole give Divas a chance, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, if this is what they want to go with more on in 2015 and make a statement in regards to, okay, we're going to have 10-minute Divas matches each week, sign me up for that shit. Yeah. I'm on the train for that. I'm okay.
It's not right Divas.
Yeah. I'm fully okay with that. You know, if you want to bring, hell, that's a much better environment to bring Charlotte up, because I guarantee you she'll give you a kick-ass 10-minute match, absolutely. So, the match. I'll talk about the match. We'll talk about the give Divas a chance thing afterwards. So in the match anyway, AJ accidentally clocks Paige. She couldn't see her, so punched her without even knowing, thinking it was Nikki.
Yeah, thinking it was Nikki, grabbing her from behind. Because what was it? AJ hit Brie, and then Paige was like, "What are you doing?" Clock.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Whacked her. Yeah. And obviously this then sets up Nikki to use the rack attack, gets the win, and great match. Honestly. Probably
the fact that we had someone kick out of because Nikki kicked out of the Rampage.
Yeah,
as well.
That's the first time that's happened.
It's just that's it. That's the finish. No,
they got the fans into it, and I applaud the women for doing so, and I applaud WWE for giving them that time. Listen, we've ragged on WWE for not giving them time. We have to praise them when they do. We have to call it as we see it.
That's it.
Now, this whole "Give Divas a Chance" tagline. I tell you what, if they really are serious, I mean, we said it before. We had one of our episodes saying that WWE doesn't care about your hashtag movements, and I don't think they do. But if they want to use this as a platform to try and build on a solid Divas division, I tell you what, I'm okay with that. Do it. I just want better female wrestling matches.
Yeah, that's it.
So if this is the conduit to get to that point, I'm fine. Honestly, that's great. The only thing that me and Matt want are good quality women's wrestling matches on a weekly basis. Yeah. And if we get that, I tell you what, we'll go on the show, we'll praise WWE to high heaven, and we'll say they have got time for their divas. It's the last 3, 4, 5 years that we've been educated to believe that they don't. Yeah. So maybe they're learning their lesson. I tell you what, Ava Marie hasn't had a match in God knows how long. Cameron hasn't had a match in God knows how long. A lot of these women that were getting matches, but they're just horrible in the ring, just haven't been featured. Maybe they're learning their lesson a little bit. Maybe it's taken a while, but they're getting their lesson learned. Fingers crossed that's the case. Touch wood. They're learning from all that. Snoop Dogg makes his way to the ring with his hose. I mean, sorry, the Total Divas.
Where my bitches?
Where is his bitches? And obviously, brings out his women, being Rosa Mendez and all that like. I thought it would have been awesome to have Sasha Banks make sort of appearance, considering there's a family link between her and Snoop. So I thought that would have been cool. But obviously, you don't want to waste that on her debut. Her debut should be a big thing.
Debut comes out as a Snoop Dogg dancer. Nah.
No, she wouldn't come out like that because you wouldn't be a hoe to your family member. She'd come out with the Boss thing, NXT Women Divas Championship, and just come out.
I suppose, but no.
I'm being a little bit too wishful in my thinking.
Yeah.
I think. So Snoop Dogg's in the ring. He says that Snoopermania is in the building. And of course, the master of Axelmania has to make an appearance. So Curtis Axel comes on out. And he always tells us that he's not going to let Snoop run his mouth while Axelmania is running wild. So obviously this brings the whole thing out. Obviously Hulk Hogan was in the area, so Snoop says, well, you know what, let's bring out the main reason that Mania runs wild. And that is Hulk Hogan who comes out. So Hulk Hogan comes out, and initially he just states that, of course, in legal terms, that Axel's been, in trouble with copyright infringement and will be arrested. No, he doesn't. He doesn't, of course. That's not going to happen. That would be quite hilarious, though. You're ripping off my character. I've sent the police to come pick you up right now. So.
Yeah, that's it. It's like copyright infringement, done with you.
So Hogan is quite unimpressed by Curtis Axel. I imagine joins the group of the majority of us. And asks Snoop Dogg, because obviously he's the authority on this, what Axel has been smoking. I can only think Curtis Axel on methamphetamines would be quite entertaining. I'd see that match. Yeah. Him against the Bunny. This is the only case I would accept a Bunny match if Curtis Axel wrestles him while on methamphetamines and he's tripping his balls. And he thinks the Bunny's like a 10-foot monster or something like that. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Or we get back into the times where JBL wrestled an alligator in Japan. And a blown up alligator in his pants, in his boxers. Which was all a ruse, by the way, to get the big show, but still. That's a bit of a throwback there. So Axel obviously takes offense to all of this. Hogan and Snoop floor Axel, send him out of the ring. And that's the segment. I would state that one of the big problems with celebrity cameos is that they tend to be awkward. And because of the amount of weed that Snoop Dogg has smoked, nothing he does is awkward anymore.
Especially the outfit was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a bit garish. But, I mean, it's Snoop Dogg. I mean, he can kind of pull it off. There's only a few people.
He came out in his pyjamas.
Yeah.
There's no way about it.
Yeah. But he's Snoop Dogg. You can do it, He's like, he'll get a bit of Godfather on him as he comes down to the ring with his hose, all aboard the hoe train. I was actually doing like the gestures with my hand, doing the strut a little bit there. So, I thought it was a fun little segment. Let's face it, a lot of people go, "Oh, but they're damaging Axel." Come on, guys. Without all this going on, Axel's not going to be on the TV. Let's just be honest. He was jobbing to people at NXT. Without this Axelmania stuff, he's not going to be on your television screens. He's not going to be making appearances. He's not going to be making money. And if he's going to get thrown out the ring by anyone, it may as well be the guy that he's ripping off. Yeah? He's ripping off Hogan. Hogan's the one to send him packing. Makes sense to me. So, That's it. What do you feel about the segment? It certainly wasn't a horrendous celebrity cameo, was it?
It wasn't terrible. I was just sort of like, oh, cool. There's Wrestlemania over.
I don't think it's
Finally.
over. I think you still do it, but
I do. You know my thoughts on Axel. We all know my thoughts on Axelmania.
yeah. I mean, we've always said it before, isn't it? But let's face it. Like I said before, people get angry and it's like they're damaging Axel. He was getting so over before this happened. Come on, he's only. Come on, he wasn't on TV before this stuff started, and it has to end at some point. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's true.
If he was here next year still doing the Axelmania stuff, I guarantee these people would be tearing their hair out saying, "Get the guy the fuck off my screen." So yeah, they air the same vignette about Brock Lesnar that they aired last week, and
It wasn't the whole thing, was it though?
it was the entire vignette that they showed last week.
Couldn't remember.
And I was a little bit sad because I'm like, come on, it's WrestleMania season. You could have made 2 vignettes. So it's a little bit worrying that they didn't. They just aired the same one over again. It's the one that I'm gonna fuck Roman Reigns up. That one.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit disappointed there that they didn't make another one. But still, I imagine their video production team they've got their fucking eyeballs up to fucking work with WrestleMania being around. But come on, this is your main event. You should at least have a few vignettes for you guys. That you wouldn't have to air the same ones over and over again. Cesaro, Kid, and Natalia against Los Matadores with El Torito. So apparently, not watching SmackDown condemns us to having to watch this interspecies match anyway.
Yeah. It's like, meh. You getting it? It's like, oh, why?
I coined the phrase last week. Oh, this is the kind of reasons why we don't watch SmackDown. I was tempting fate right there, wasn't I? Really? Yeah. I was kind of asking for this match to be on Raw. People, you can blame me. Alright? Blame me. Oh guys, sorry, I've been leaning on Wade Barrett again. I just pinned him. Oh, sorry guys, I pinned the I just leaned on him
again.
I've been doing it each week. I don't even know I'm doing it.
Terrible, man.
Sorry guys. Anyway, back to what's going on here. I would be horrible in a ladder match. I would be really bad. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I can't even begin to state how stupid the idea of this is. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm not going to rage about it because, come on, people know this, you know. Majority of people, I imagine, are just like, I'm just going to skip this shit anyway. El Torito ends up pinning Natalia after basically rolling her up. And I'm like, don't mean this in a derogatory manner, okay? But he's a little person.
Yep.
He should not be able to pin Natalia. Yeah? Especially in a roll-up. The geometrics of size against person just don't fucking work. Yeah? You could just roll over. Like I said, with respect,
off you get.
With respect, they don't have the hands to hold you fucking down. You could just roll over, right?
Yeah.
Come on, there's tons of ways you can get out of that move, you know. The only way you can lock it in, you've got someone relative to your size that's locking your hands down with their legs, and they've got you pinned down properly like this, all over you. It's kind of hard to do that when you're a little person, right? Let alone a bull, because he's a fucking different species, apparently. I'm getting there. I'm not gonna get angry. I'm not gonna get angry. But if I were Tyson Kidd, I'd probably file for divorce. Jesus Christ. The last 3 weeks, I know the commentary has been like trying to state, oh, it's all Tyson Kidd's fault. And I've said it each week. No, it isn't. It just comes up looking like Natalia's a fucking idiot. And this week she gets pinned by El Torito. I would divorce her.
Definitely idiot.
Yeah. Divorce her and have a crack at trying to get Renee Young because it's Renee Young. I really like Renee Young this week. Yeah.
You really do.
Lana needs to come back. Lana needs to come back because, you know, otherwise that slot is going to get filled, you know. My wife's going to start thinking she's going to find another woman to crush on.
Well, we got another chant as well, so
yeah, exactly. People
feel your pain.
Yeah, it just isn't the same seeing Rusev. You know, you can talk, but all of us can stare. You know, at Lana, and that's really nice. But we'll get to that segment as we go on. But yeah, this interspecies match. There's a few moments, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There's a few moments where I feel very bad to be a wrestling fan. And I feel ashamed to tell people, you know what I watched today? An interspecies match. And they're like, really? What, they actually wrestled animals? No, it was a guy dressed up like one! And then I'm like, yeah, I can kind of understand why people don't look at wrestling in the way I do. moving swiftly forward, I really don't want to get angry about that. Barrett is backstage. He finally has his IC title on him, but Kane shows up and he says he's there to take it from him to set it up for the WrestleMania match and the segment later on as well. Kane that says that all Barrett has to do is to win at WrestleMania and he'll get the title back. I tell you what, with all of these moments and all the things happened in the last month, doesn't Barrett just seem like a face being screwed over by the system?
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, he just completely looks like a face.
Can't win.
Yeah. I mean, he was cheered at getting his belt back, and then the system is taken off him, man. Just turn the guy face, just do it. I actually think there's a lot of stock to be having Barrett go face. I saw today on Sky Sports, just a small little segment, where they interviewed Barrett, and he said there that I had to knock on the bad news stuff because people were getting too much into it. I'm like, yeah, so people are starting to enjoy it. Just fucking turn face. It's easy. Now you're like no one, and no one, you're just losing tons of Intercontinental title matches. Imagine you coming down, I've got some bad news, the entire crowd chatting alongside it, and then he's going face. So instead of going, oh, you got bad news because your lives are horrible, it's bad news, I'm going to kick this guy's ass in front of all these people, and they're all going to love it. That's the bad news for this guy. And,
that's it.
I think there's a face turn in there in Barrett, and I think he put it off pretty well, to be honest. He hasn't been a face yet in WWE. He's always been a heel. Give it a try. Give it a try. It's like with Cesaro, right? When he had his huge, everyone was getting behind him. The thing that you need to do, just make him go face, right? And just give it a try, because what you were doing with him at that point was fucking horrendous. You destroyed everything the guy had.
Call it a day and leave it at that.
Yeah. If people are starting to chant for him, then don't try and force the issue. Make him face. Yeah. People will love it. People will. Rusev versus Swagger. So. Last week I said that how Rowan is essentially Eric Rowan is Big Show's personal jobber. I think Jack Swagger fills that role for Rusev. The amount of
it's definitely looking that way.
Yeah, he's lost a ton of matches against Rusev at this point. So yeah, time for the real American to get to work. Job away. Do his job. That's what he needs to do. It's an okay match. Rusev. It actually goes on longer than I thought it would. He basically finishes Swagger, refuses to let go of the accolade, saying that Lana's normally one that stops him, but she's not there at the moment. So
the fact that he has to declare himself to Crush. It's
yeah.
Like, Rusev.
We miss Lana. So this brings out Cena, obviously, for the save. The push-seeking missile, I tell you, he's so close to his destination. He can smell it. Oh, it's going to be great. He can barely wait to beat another rising star on the biggest stage of them all and take away their push. Oh, he can't wait. It's like a steak to John Cena. He can't wait for it. It's salivating at the thought of it, John Cena. Taking that push away. I'm getting a little bit angry there. Rusev gets the better of Cena, however, drives him into the announce table, slaps the accolade on him for good measure. And I said it was a good moment for Rusev. In my advice to Mr. Rusev, savour it, because it ain't lasting very long. At WrestleMania, you're losing. That's the blunt of it here. I'm giving away a lot of my predictions already, haven't I? Wow. This leads to Bray Wyatt coming out. And I tell you what, one thing I do like about the presentation of him, he comes out with his very own Firefly nameplate. I like that. Have you noticed that? I like that.
I did notice that, and I was like, ooh.
That's sexy. I do like that.
Good.
He talks pretty much the same stuff he said over the last month. And this leads to loads of spooky Undertaker-esque noises. But Wyatt says he has the spirits working for him now. And it's quite an intense promo. He says that he'll make Taker rest in peace at WrestleMania. And it's a good promo, but as I said, everyone knows our thoughts about it. He's taken it as far as it can go. It can't get any further, and he's been stuck at that point for about 3 weeks, realistically. So it's a bit of a shame. Taker needs to be involved, more involved. It's a shame that he wasn't involved entirely at all with any of the build-up towards this match. It's a bit of a shame, that's all. WWE finally announced what we've known for pretty much about 2 months now. I think we broke the story about 2 months ago, that Kevin Nash is being inducted into the Hall of Fame. As Kevin Nash, funny enough. I think that's a little bit interesting.
It's the one thing I don't get.
I think it's because Nash had a more recent stint in WWE wrestling as Kevin Nash. In 2011 he had a match against Triple H as Kevin Nash, so maybe they're thinking of that. I'm not
And
sure.
they brought him in because he had that, Nash, LOL, thought he was dead.
Yeah. Which obviously they won't make any reference to his Hall of Fame induction. And we had a question actually a couple of, I think it was about a month ago, stating, is Kevin Nash worthy of an induction? We said absolutely. He forever changed the course of wrestling's path. Him leaving WWE, going to WCW and forming the NWO. Wrestling would be a far different place now if that hadn't happened.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah? And if someone's
I think it's the one thing that I don't get is the fact that he's going. I think we were about to touch on it. It's just the fact that he's going in as Nash and not Diesel when Scott Hall's gone in as Razor Ramon.
Yeah. It is interesting. I think that Nash's most recent run is the reason why he's being named there. But do you agree with me right here that I think that anyone that can state they've had a huge influence on where the entirety of pro wrestling is now deserves a Hall of Fame induction?
Yeah.
I would state that is the case, and you could say, Ted Turner, who forever changed the course of wrestling. He wasn't a talent; he was just a business guy, I'm talking about actual talent, people that we watched week in week out that changed the course of wrestling. They should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. So that's it. They should be in any Hall of Fame, really.
Simple as that, really.
Yeah. Now, apparently, he is going to be the headline induction. He will be the last person speaking because they don't want the Macho Man finishing off the show because he is deceased. And for some people going,
I can understand that.
I understand that. Some people are like, that's a travesty. He's obviously the headline. No, I think that you need someone talking properly at the end of the show for it. And I know some people, it doesn't actually matter that much. The way I would do it is the way they've done it. Having Kevin.
I'd rather he did it than the Bushwhackers.
Yeah, there is that, isn't it? People just turn off at that point if it's Bushwhackers being the last guys. I imagine their induction isn't going to be long. I imagine they're going to have a quick speech and then they're going to be out of there. But Nash will probably have a very lengthy speech because him and Macho Man are two very big inductions. You've got Larry Zbyszko, who I hope Larry Zbyszko gets a lengthy induction speech.
Have you seen who's inducting him?
No, who is it?
San Martino.
Really? Wow, that's great. I like that. That's really good, yeah. Considering the connection between those two.
That's it.
So I hope Zbyszko gets a long time to talk. And I hope Nash does as well. I hope Nash does get a good amount because he's got, at the very least, Nash has got some good stories. He's got a bit
definitely.
Got a bit
he's got the whole sort of he jumped ship.
Yeah. When you change the course of professional wrestling forever, you're going to have some interesting stories to go along with that. That's the way it is. Natalia is backstage. Tyson Kidd is there. They're on different sides of this little partition, so they can't see each other. And Tyson Kidd is talking to a burger from Burger King, or I think like chili fries or whatever they're pushing.
Chicken fries
or something. I don't know.
I think because like we're hitting a point where I've literally just watched it.
Yeah.
So I just remember it during the next match there was trending now # chicken fries are back.
Yeah.
That's not wrestling related.
Yeah. But Tyson Kidd is talking all these lovely things. I love the way you smell. I love the way you taste. You look so amazing. And Natalia thinks that she's talking about her, but obviously he isn't because he's the worst husband of all time, apparently. But I would argue that, I think the guy needs his meal after you got pinned by fucking El Torito.
That's it.
Get with the program. But it's a shameless plug, but let's face it, we love shameless plugs a little bit here. When they get too bad, it gets horrible. Let's plug our Twitter at TalkWrestlePod. There you go.
Of course.
But yeah, you kind of expect to hear. They're going to be doing little plugs, especially closer to Mania. They're going to be doing tons of this stuff. So this leads to our main event of the evening: Dolph Ziggler against Daniel Bryan. The match that both men were hoping would happen at WrestleMania gets done on SmackDown and Raw the weeks before. So regardless of that, this has the makings of what I'd like to call a humdinger of a match. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite that.
The worst part is the fact that it looked like SmackDown had the better version of this match.
It does look like that, yeah. It wasn't a bad match. People might be saying, "Oh, what was you digging on this match?" It was good. I just don't think it was as good as a Dolph Ziggler Daniel Bryan match can be.
That's it.
The bottom line of it. Ambrose was the special guest referee. There was a vote on. I personally would have loved to have seen Stardust as the special guest referee.
I personally would have liked to have seen Barrett.
Barrett as the special guest referee. Okay, fair enough. I think the majority vote. I can understand why people majority voted for Ambrose though, because he's the most popular guy out of that group. Let's just be honest.
He was essentially the face of that listing.
Yeah, essentially.
So, well, other than Truth, but who cares about Truth?
I was surprised that Truth got so many votes. I'm like, really?
I just keep seeing loads of people going like, oh, I really hope R-Truth wins.
I don't want anything more of R-Truth in his current incarnation. I don't even want to look at the guy at the moment.
I really hope R-Truth becomes the IC champion. I really don't. Because, we haven't seen anything of Truth until about 5 weeks ago when this whole thing came together.
And he spent 3 weeks on commentary making my ears bleed. Yeah. Making me lose my voice on this show because I was like, fucking potatoes! Shut up! just go back. That's going to be on, when we do...
Whoa, T-Dizzle!
Oh, don't.
Shut up.
Don't.
Chill out.
Don't you fucking start me on that. No, you know what, when we do the 2-year anniversary, I'm going to go back through all the clips. That's making the clips because that fucking annoyed me all the high heaven. The worst hour of a wrestling show I've seen so far this year was that show. Final segment of the night. Oh, sorry, I had to tell you who wins that. Dolph Ziggler wins that match, and then afterwards he gets a dirty deeds from Ambrose, and obviously this leads to the obligatory everyone runs in.
Spudfest!
Bundle sort of thing as they all run into the ring. All of them are laid out afterwards, and it's like, oh, but someone's have to get back up at WrestleMania and win the belt, and yeah, fair enough. It almost reminds me of the Royal Rumble skit that they do at the Go Home segment of the Royal Rumble. Everyone dumps into the ring, and they end the show with everyone just fighting in the ring. It's like, oh, what's going to happen at the Royal Rumble? It's that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's easy booking, I guess. Final segment of the night. We're coming towards the end. The final segment of Raw leading into WrestleMania. A very important segment. Brock Lesnar comes down to... Brock Lesnar is so strong, he makes me muff my words. Brock Lesnar comes to the ring with Paul Heyman. And Heyman says there's nothing more he can do to entice people.
It was just like, yak, 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 yak. Because why am I not saying anything? Because I shouldn't have to.
Yeah. He basically puts over the fact that he's promoted this show all to high heaven. And he says, I can't do anything more to entice you people to watch Roman Reigns' prison beating at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And he's quite right. Heyman has been on fire these last 4 weeks. And he's promoted this show better than he could possibly do. We posed a question last week: is Paul Heyman the MVP of WWE? Well, I'll tell you what. At the very least, he's the MVP of this rivalry.
Oh yeah.
Which is ironic because
someone's got to sell it.
Yeah, he sold this match to high. He's actually hooked me a bit. I actually want to see this match, right? Before I was Paul Heyman's done it. He's got me a little bit into it, and that's his job. He's got me enthused, and I'm excited to see at the finish of this match how it's going to end, and that's interesting to me. So this match I do want to see, the Lesnar Brock match, more so now that Brock Lesnar's re-signed. Yeah. So Heyman says that some people call Brock a mercenary, but he's just a competitor, a fierce, enthusiastic competitor, and he's going to beat down Roman Reigns' door, take his wife, and take the food off his children's plates.
That's it.
Brock Lesnar.
Rename his children Lesnar. And...
Yeah.
I was just like, whoa.
Yeah. Whoa, that's pretty intense. Brock Lesnar conquers the breaking and entering. That's what he does. He conquers Roman Reigns' house. Puts the Lesnar flag on it. I mean, I know that's a bit barbaric, I take your wife, she's mine now. It's just like, it's a bit weird, but still.
Viking style, just bump her on the head and walk away.
Walk away, dragging her behind you, yeah. Stuffing your face with the food that you just taken off of Roman Reigns' children's plates, He says that Reigns loves to say that I can and I will, but the blunt truth is, he can't and he won't.
Yeah.
Very powerful statement there. This brings out Roman Reigns. He doesn't say anything. He kind of snatches the title off of Lesnar, and then they kind of have a tug of war, and they look at each other extremely awkwardly.
Yeah.
It was a very timid way on ending the show. To me, Brock Lesnar isn't the kind of guy that he would leave you standing after you just snatched something of his away from him.
It's the fact that he snatched it back. I was like, what, he's not going to take him down?
Yeah, when you punch a guy that's trying to take your belt, punch him. You're Lesnar. Like, what's going on? It just seemed really odd. I know they wanted.
You'd imagine he'd go low and dump him on the floor, and then punches would fly.
Yeah, that's it. Like, let's face it, right? I know what they were going for. They wanted the visual of these two guys struggling. It's a power struggle between the belt. But it didn't come off that way. It just came off very awkward.
And it's been memed to hell now.
Yeah, it has been. They put like N64 controllers in there.
Sad CM Punk in the background.
Yeah.
Total.
I tell you what, CM Punk must be a bit pissed. If he's going to watch WrestleMania this year, he's going to look at Roman Reigns and be like, I wanted the main event of WrestleMania. We've already talked about that, why he's already really had it, but he's like, they're going to have the last match Roman Reigns, and I worked all this hard, and he's just getting it. Yeah, it's just going to fuel his bitterness, I imagine. But yeah, awkward way to end the show. I still think that Paul Heyman's done a good enough job in terms of promoting this match, and I am interested in it because of the, if nothing else, for the politics of it. Are they going to really let Lesnar beat the guy that really they've chosen because maybe he hasn't got over? We'll go to our predictions because I think that's a better place to talk about all that. But the match itself and the ramifications of the match, to me, are very interesting. So
that's it.
Yeah. So there we are. Build up for Mania is now over. It's done. For us anyway, because I'm not watching SmackDown. I thought this week's show was okay. You had a very good Divas match. The Sting stuff to open up the show was good. You had some very good, some okay matches in there. Some interesting segments. It's not exactly a hugely heated build-up to Mania, but it's nowhere near as bad as WrestleMania 29 was, where no one just cared at all. No one
just cared. Like, oh shit, that's tomorrow. Fuck it.
Yeah. I once compared the build-up to this to WrestleMania 29, and WrestleMania 29, by the way, was an extremely forgettable WrestleMania. That's why I bring it up. But I don't think WrestleMania, for the record, I don't think WrestleMania 31 will be as forgettable as 29 was. 29 was largely forgettable because the fact
29 was Rock Cena 2, wasn't it?
The twice in a lifetime stuff.
Yeah.
But they had tons of matches there that meant nothing. They had the Shield against like Orton and Sheamus and Big Show, I think, and that was just random, nonsensical. They had CM Punk against Taker, which is always good. I think was that the one where they had? No, it was the year before. The year before where they had the dancing grandmas or the mamas.
Oh God, yeah.
It was like, okay,
year before.
You chose to have that. No, it was 28. 28 was the one with the dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, 29 was just boring. Let's just be honest. So yeah, do you want to catch this week's show of Raw? Yes, you do. There are some good stuff you want to see in the back, and I did go back and watch the Sting stuff again because that was quite interesting. And I tell you what, the Divas match was very, very good. I think that's probably tell you what, that was the best best match on the show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It meant something. It was interesting. Had really interesting spots. It had drama.
False finishes. A lot, yeah.
The fact I'm saying this about Divas match just fills me with pride and joy. It really does. All the negative stuff we've had to say about the Divas, I'm like, this week they've done really good. Last 2 weeks, they've done really good. Keep it up, WWE. Prove me wrong. I said, it doesn't matter what they do next week, because they won't do it next year. Next year, prove me wrong, and show me that for the entirety of 2015, that you've got a solid Divas division. Prove me wrong. I want you to do it. I want you to do it. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, please. This leads us to our WrestleMania 31 predictions. Interesting predictions here. We're going to talk about our thoughts on it, and I'm interested to see what you think, Matt. And you guys as well, if you do have time, this will be going out on Sunday. We'll try and get it out relatively early so you can still listen to it before Mania. Let us know your predictions as well. We'd love to hear them in the comments. So we'll go for our pre-show, the matches that have already been announced for the pre-show. There's 2 of them. The tag team title match, the 4-way tag title match.
Yep.
My prediction for this is Cesaro and Kid retain their titles.
And I can match that.
Oh, so you're going with it as well.
Yeah, I think it's too soon for them to lose them.
Yeah.
And there's do the Usos really need it again?
Well, they've literally only just had it taken off them. That's why I'm putting them aside.
And
Los Matadores.
Not ready to be champs because nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
And who else is in it?
I don't know, actually.
Prime Time?
I don't know. Whoever it is, it's been largely forgettable at this point.
But there you go. That's the
and
the 4th team, who is? I don't remember. So there you go.
Yeah. I think Cesaro and Kid. You know, if they're serious about making these guys a legitimate tag team, they can't lose the belts 1 month after winning them. That's just stupid.
That's it.
So. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. This is interesting. Now, initially, I thought Damien Sandow was a cinch to win. But the idea is bumming around in my head of Sandow not winning the match, but still eliminating Miz by eliminating himself. You know, they love those spots where he gets full of rage and then eliminates himself that way. Who do you think's going to win?
Ryback.
You think Ryback will win?
Yes.
As much as what I've just said, I'm still going with Sandow.
Fair enough.
I think that one way, as much as the Cesaro stuff last year still etches in my mind, one way that you can continue to get Sandow exposure after he split up with The Miz and had his big moment is you could have him win it, and then he could be, it gives him a little bit more legitimacy going forward as a singles competitor after that. But
okay, yeah.
I would not be shocked if Ryback wins either, and a few other people on there as well, because I can honestly see that happening. I'm just going with Sandow because that was my initial thought.
I will agree with the fact that I think Sandow will cost Miz the match.
Yes, at very least.
I'm going on. Come Survivor Series last year, or just gone. Mm-hmm. Ryback was the hottest commodity. It was sort of played out like whoever had Ryback was going to win.
Yeah.
Then it kind of faded into nothing.
Yeah.
Since then, WWE have posted out on YouTube a whole little watch this video as like Ryback trains.
Yeah, actually I've seen that a lot
myself.
Mania. Yeah.
They're really going to do that about everyone?
They've only been promoting him, haven't they? So that is what.
And Ambrose.
Yeah, but Ambrose is in a completely different match, isn't he?
No, I know.
Yeah. That is interesting, and like I said, I could definitely see Ryback winning. You know,
I think it'd be a good way of getting him back onto that rising star that he should be on.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with Sandow. Something tells me that Sandow will win, but
this is where we're both completely wrong, and it's Big Show.
That would be a shock. It would be a little bit. I mean, I would.
Zack Ryder has momentum, don't forget.
No. Let's move on. So the actual, you're going with Ryback. I'm going with Miz now. AJ
will be watching it and shall be tweeting as I go.
Don't send me any messages because I'm watching it the day after.
Okay.
AJ and Paige versus the Bella Twins. Pointless match. I have said this before. I will go with AJ and Paige.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
It's not for the belt, so why do the Bellas need to win?
Exactly. And the point of it as well is that going with this sort of typical knowledge, the Bellas have been getting one over on these girls for the last couple of weeks anyway.
Yeah.
So you look at that knowledge.
Well, they've been getting one over on Paige for months now. So.
Yeah, so she's due for some
revenge.
Sort of yeah. That's what I'm going with. Although it doesn't matter who wins. That's the problem with this match. It doesn't matter who wins. It's pointless.
It just exists.
To another pointless match. Orton against Seth Rollins. I think Orton gets the victory.
Yep. Rollins doesn't need the win. Rollins has been on a losing streak for weeks now, and everyone still loves him. So I think everyone will still love him after an Orton win.
Yeah, you're quite right. And to have Orton come back and get his attack and everything like that, and there can be something said. I think that Orton will get the win, but I don't think it will be a bad night for Seth. All right, I'll get into that a little bit later. But this match suffers from essentially the rivalry already being resolved.
Yeah, well, rush booking as well.
Yeah, it's done. He's already got his hand. There's nothing more that he can do in this match with Rollins than he already did to him. It's a little bit of a redundancy.
And in fact, he'll be able to do less because
he'll be DQ'd if he does. Yeah,
he'd be disqualified for what he did.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a bit of a waste of time personally. But they could have a good wrestling match. They could have a good map-based wrestling match. But I think in this rivalry, why would you have a map-based wrestling match? It just makes no sense.
It could be a show stealer.
Could be. It's a dark horse match. I will grant to that. Intercontinental title ladder match. Who do you think will win?
Bryan.
And I will go with Daniel Bryan as well.
Legitimacy of the belt.
Yeah, that's what I'm gunning for here. I've said before, and I'll say it now, that Daniel Bryan looks out of place because he looks like he shouldn't really be in this match. Like he's above it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, especially considering 1 year ago he was holding the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And it's not so much the guy's fallen far from grace. He's not been booked horribly. I know he did lose to Roman Reigns, and he did lose on against Ziggler twice. You know, which is a bit odd. But Maybe that's even more of a precursor that he will win. He'll win the title.
Yeah.
And he's the one guy in there that if he wins the belt, because they've made it all about that's the one belt he hasn't had. He's got this. He's had the United States, the tag team, then he's had the WWE, whatever. The IC is the only one he hasn't got. If someone like Barrett wins and he retains the title, not that big. If Ziggler wins, he's won fucking tons of IC titles anyway. It doesn't really matter. Ambrose, maybe he's got a good chance. No one wants to see R-Truth win, and I don't think Stardust has got a shot. So
Harper, I think Harper's going to be in there just to play the powerhouse role of tipping ladders and throwing people.
There's going to be a few nasty good spots in this match. I will give it that. I think it will be a good match.
Many bump cards will be checked.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, I do expect Daniel Bryan to win, and it'll be a bit weird if he doesn't. If I'm honest, it'll be a bit like, okay. And they want to trust me. They want the fans in a good mood for Reigns later on in the show. Yeah. So I think they want Daniel Bryan to win this match.
Yeah.
Rusev versus Cena, the push-seeking missile.
Oh, like I was saying to you the other day, or earlier.
I would argue that the push-seeking missile has waited too long for his target.
It's about to explode,
and he's about to home in and take that push away from him. Cena will win decisively in clean fashion and take the United States Championship, giving Rusev his very first pinfall loss.
Yeah. I mean, that whole thing is the fact that, obviously, as what happened on Raw, Cena was on the receiving end of the arse kicking.
So yeah, I wouldn't completely rule out the fact that you may end up seeing Rusev tap out in this match. Like, you can't rule out that fact. They may have the big visual of maybe Cena doesn't pin him, but Cena makes him tap out, and that's the big thing. Or now he's finally submitted to a US competitor and all that lot. Maybe that. I don't think they should. I think they should make it. I don't think he should lose at all. But I wouldn't rule out that possibility of him actually tapping out, but
that's it.
Or passing out maybe along those lines. So, what do you think? I know you sound like you're a bit you're a bit indecisive. What do you think? So?
I don't know.
You think Rusev's got a chance? I don't think.
I just hope he does.
Didn't we say before that, like, 2 years in a row now, if Cena beats Rusev, that's 2 years in a row he's taken a new rising star and beating him at the biggest stage.
And dicked on him, yeah.
It's just not right. It's not how I would do things.
I'm going to go with Rusev.
Oh, wow, okay.
Sod it.
You betting against John Cena, the push-seeking missile?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Don't know about that. He's got to wind down at some point, so...
We've been saying that
I hope it's now.
We've been saying that for fucking ages. He needs to wind down.
Well, I will still continue with this dream.
With hope. You've got hope, Matt. That's what you've got. Sting versus Triple H. I think this one's pretty easy. Sting will win. I don't expect him to lose at all. I don't think there's any chance of him losing. I do expect, however, this won't be a long match, but I think it will be an experience. I think both the entrances will be awesome. I think that just seeing Sting wrestle in a WWE sanctioned match is something worth watching. It's something to behold, really. Especially for any WCW inclined fan, which was me back in the day. What about yourself? What do you think?
What for this match?
Yeah.
Ooh. Like Sting.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason.
There'd be no point bringing it back. It's like, hey, finally come to WWE, so I can beat you.
Yeah, I think people would be quite pissed if Triple H did win this. And like I said, they want to keep the crowd happy. They want to keep them happy for Roman Reigns. So I think Sting will win. I think it will be. I don't think it will be a long match. I think Sting will take a bit of a beating. Because, Triple H is going to dictate the pace of this match.
Oh, it's going to be physical.
Yeah.
I've no doubt about it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, and maybe you might have even interferences coming in trying to get him in the match because, Sting could, just whack these smaller guys around really easy, like JJ Security or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I think Sting will win. I think Sting's entrance, hopefully they go all out on it, and they should do. It should be a spectacle. It should be. Hopefully it will be.
Yeah.
Undertaker against Bray Wyatt. My prediction for this is hopefully Bray Wyatt, but I just don't see it happening. Undertaker will win. And I believe that this will be him getting his victory, and then, maybe he'll have a match with Sting down the line. That's the rumours that they want to go, them to come back next year and do that match. No, I don't see him losing 2 matches in a row at WrestleMania. I just don't see it happening. I think Wyatt is the guy they put there so he can get a rivalry built up for free. Taker gets his win, goes away for another year, and Wyatt's left to pick up the pieces, unfortunately. But I do hope it's a good match.
I don't think Wyatt has to... I don't think Wyatt actually has anything to gain from this match.
He has everything to gain by beating The Undertaker.
Well, yeah, I know. It's still beating The Undertaker, but he's done really well in this whole build-up. Just to sort of just go, actually, he can carry a fucking feud.
Well, the thing is,
with
right,
nobody around.
to the general fan, if he loses against Undertaker, he has a reputation for talking up about how he's going to destroy and eat all these souls and then not winning the match.
Yeah.
He just can't win the big one for some reason. So
let him win.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Look, listen, right? I know you want to do a match later on. Don't think of that now. Don't think of, we want to save him for Sting. No, you do it for your new stars. Let Wyatt beat him and beat him convincingly, but I don't think they're going to do it. And some people might be, but he's the Undertaker. Yeah, and at this point of his career, he should be letting.
He's the Undertaker with an incomplete perfect streak.
Yeah. There's nothing. Listen,
like, what's he going to go? I won 22-1.
They could even run with the storyline that he goes 21-2. Right, he loses another match, and people are like, well, he's obviously done now. He's lost 2 in a row, and maybe then he comes back and he has to find his. Okay, my final retirement match. I want to go out a win in WrestleMania, and they could build that up. You can still do that with Wyatt winning here. It's just the whole storyline is obviously Taker just doesn't have it anymore. He's lost 2 matches in a row now. He hasn't got it, and it's the whole storyline of him, getting redemption and all of these lines. But maybe they're going along those lines. But I hope they do, because I want Wyatt to win. But I just don't think he will. I think that Undertaker will win.
Cool.
Is that what you're going for as well, Taker?
No.
Oh, you're going Wyatt. You're going Wyatt, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Yeah. With Brock's re-signing, this makes this match a touch tougher to call.
Yeah.
I still believe... I think this is the moment that Brock Lesnar goes babyface. And I believe that someone will screw him out, and it won't be Paul Heyman. I think
Reigns will win.
I think Reigns will beat him. I think Reigns will pin him, but it won't be a clean win, right? I don't think Reigns will beat him clean, right? Because of Brock being screwed out by whatever means, maybe it's the Authority that gets involved, because I think ultimately that's where the money is. Brock against the Authority and Brock being the babyface, right? And they've already sown those seeds of they don't want him to succeed. They keep trying to take the belt from him, right? They've already sown those seeds, right?
Yep.
So the storyline is kind of already there.
Especially considering, you see him as nothing more than a mercenary.
Yeah.
When that's what Heyman said.
Yeah.
And how can, surely you can just imagine now Steph just coming down and just saying, but that's why we brought you here.
Yeah. One of the things that I would state that it's almost like it fits in very well. That you could have someone screw Brock out, attack him, whatever, maybe even Rollins, right? Even though I do think he'll get involved afterwards. I think Reigns wins the belt, celebrates, Brock Lesnar gets pissed that he's been screwed, doesn't even matter if Reigns is a face, decimates him, right?
Yeah.
I'm pissed off that you've just taken my belt from me and I got screwed out of this. Everyone gets killed. He leaves, Roman Reigns is there, and Seth Rollins cashes in. And he is the first person to cash in at WrestleMania, and he wins the belt. And this sets up the feud. Brock Lesnar can go away, doesn't have to come back, he's got limited dates, and you've got a Reigns-Rollins title feud for the next couple of months. And that's how it goes. That's how I see it happening. I don't think Rollins is going to have that briefcase for much longer. I think he will cash it in at WrestleMania.
I hope Rollins doesn't have the belt for much long. The briefcase for much longer. Getting old.
That builds into the fact as well that it doesn't matter if he loses to Orton because he's walking out of WrestleMania with the belt. And Reigns can feel hard done by because he got cashed in. He's owed a rematch because he was champion. And Brock Lesnar can go away. He can have that chip on his shoulder that he will screw it, come back eventually and be like, well, the Authority screwed me.
Yeah.
Now you all die. Yeah. Lesnar's coming to conquer the Authority.
You're all a threat.
And he comes in as a babyface. I think that's the way to go now because he's being treated as a babyface now. Why not go with that? Maybe make the mission. The Authority needs to go. That storyline's gone on too long. It was dead. They revived it, and it's not been that much better. Make Brock Lesnar be the one to just not outright stop the Authority, fucking kill the Authority. Just, be the guy that they just can't stop. I think that's where it goes from there. What's your prediction? So I'll ask you the prediction. Who you think Reigns will win the belt?
I think Reigns will get the belt.
But who leaves with the title? So essentially, do you think
if it's not going to be at Mania, it's going to be Raw after. But Rollins will be cashing in.
So you reckon over the course of the next couple of days, Rollins will be the world champion?
Fuck it, I'll go with Mania. Just if I've got definitive, Yes.
Okay, so you're going for the same as me. All right.
Yeah. Reigns will get his moment just to go, "Ooh, look, confetti, and I did it," and then suddenly, yeah.
I mean, the fact of the way I see it is that maybe they're not going to do this, right? Because they need to be worried that the fans at WrestleMania will not take to Roman Reigns. That's a huge possibility, right?
I think probably keep. Well, I was under the impression, I was thinking to myself at one point, I was like, maybe they'll just keep Rollins as a contingency, sort of just like, how did they react to it?
Or act on the fly? Maybe. I don't think
so. Rollins, go.
Yeah, maybe, and this way, like what I said, is that I don't think the crowd will take to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I think he will get booed, right? Because people will want, especially now Lesnar has re-signed, people are going to want Lesnar to kick the shit out of this guy, right? So, how do you do this? You can't have Reigns do the Royal Rumble finish and have the belt with all the confetti and all the people are booing him, and you have one of the most awkward ends to WrestleMania in history. You have Seth Rollins come down, beat him for the belt, everyone cheers, even though he's a heel, but you can kind of play off that, right? And then they can go back to doing their regular thing. And like I said, then you've got a title feud built in for the next couple of months.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah? You know what your main event is then for, Extreme Rules. You've got Reigns against Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and Lesnar can go off and he can relax, do whatever he wants to, because he's got limited dates, comes back when he's ready to have that authority storyline. That's how I see it going, and I hope I'm right, but we'll see. I think it'll be a massive mistake if they honestly think that Reigns is going to be received well, because I don't think he will be, because these are rowdy fans, let's face it. They're British fans, a lot of them going over.
Yeah.
They're hardcore wrestling fans. Hardcore wrestling fans don't like Roman Reigns, and we're the exception because we do. But yeah, I don't think it'll be received that well. And one way to negate having a really awkward end. And let's talk about the other finish. You could have Brock Lesnar just beat him clean.
Yeah.
And I would say the issue with that then is that what was the point in building up Reigns for all this time? He may not have been the guy that you wanted. He may not have got over with all the fans that you wanted, but I'd argue that you can't just throw all that time out the window. You've got to at least have some sort of payoff for it. But that's what
the other thing is, I don't think you can go giving it. Like, you can't just go like, oh yeah, here, Reigns, have a whole new T-shirt, like a whole new way of your character. The I can, I will. Let's get behind that. And shit on it.
Yeah, it's like this whole entire time they've been saying, "Oh, no one can say Roman Reigns can win this," and then he doesn't win it. It's like that really bad for his character. Then going forward, that everyone told him he couldn't do it, and he couldn't do it. You know what I mean? It's like he didn't overcome the odds, John Cena style sort of thing. So yeah, I do expect him to win, and I do expect Brock not to be beaten clean. I don't think that'll happen. I think he'll be screwed, and obviously I said how it goes on from there. And it does make this match extremely interesting. It really does, because it could end in a very dramatic fashion.
That's it.
And what a way for Rollins to have another notch on his belt, but to say, I was the only man to cash in at WrestleMania and win the belt. So,
yeah.
Or this is what I was saying beforehand. The idea, because what I was alluding to, was that with Reigns not being received that well, does he beat Rollins then for the match, even though he cashes in? I would say that would be a fucking moronic idea. The idea of him making a failed cash in.
No.
Yeah.
You get that thought out of your head.
Yeah.
Like, there would not be a way that Rollins comes out and goes, yeah, I'm cashing in, just to get on the receiving end of a spear.
Yeah.
No.
That would be awful. And the fans would fucking hate it as well. They really would.
If anything, it's just like, go do it. Why? Why am I doing it? Why am I throwing this away? Because we all saw your dick, don't forget.
Yeah. Remember that dick pic? Now you're paying for it, Rollins. Get out there and job to him. Yeah.
Go out there and drop your briefcase.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I sincerely hope that doesn't happen. I think if they do that, they might have a riot on their hands, because the fans would be like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Stop it. Yeah, no, that's the way I see it going down. So that's our show for the week. All of our predictions as well. Got a few different ones there. You reckon Wyatt will win and Rusev will win? I think the old timers, Vince will stick with his cards. I think that's the way it always goes. So yeah, interesting stuff. Leave your comments and your predictions.
You have different Royale choices.
Yeah, we've got a few different ones. It'd be interesting, So yeah, leave your predictions in the comments. We'd love to hear it there, guys, in regards to that. Is there anything else you want to cover this week, Matt? I think
No.
It's roughly around this time in the podcast that my throat starts to hurt, and that's me saying it's pretty much time to wrap up. So,
yeah.
If you guys did enjoy the episode, then you can subscribe to the channel if you're obviously new. If you're a current subscriber, then you can follow us on @TalkWrestlePod, and you can leave any questions on our Twitter page or in the comments section below this video. You can also like the video. It's not required, but you can if you like. It does help us, makes it so new people look at the video and think, oh, well, this isn't unliked video and all that, even though we've got plenty of views. It does help the channel a little bit, so we do appreciate that. And yeah, we hope that you guys really enjoy the WrestleMania weekend and the Raw after WrestleMania. We will have a WrestleMania review up sometime next week, and obviously we'll be back next week for our analysis of that. And the week after that, is that the Raw that we're going to?
13th, yes.
I think it is. Yeah, it is. That's the
Raw after. Yeah, so you got Raw after Mania.
And then it's our one, isn't it?
No.
Oh, no, we got another one. Oh, okay, fair enough.
So you got Raw after Mania, another Raw, and then our Raw.
So it's going to be 3 episodes away is our live one. So, and we'll have tons of stuff up on our Twitter and stuff like that. Well, I say that because it's going to be 2 episodes, and the day afterwards we're actually going to Mania. So
yeah, 30th, 6th, 13th. Yeah.
Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter during that time.
We need a sign up. We need a sign.
I'd be too afraid to take it off us. I really would be. But what I'm saying, guys, if you follow us on our Twitter, we're going to be taking pictures. It's the first time you're going to see our faces, right? We're going to be putting up videos. We're going to be doing short little, like vlogs and all that crap. They're all going to be up on the Twitter, I imagine.
That's it.
So we're going to do stuff like that. No doubt there'll be some stuff for us, like reacting to things like that, maybe. I don't know. We'll probably be enjoying the show. And then, obviously, we might have a little bit of a chat afterwards, record our thoughts. But we'll still be doing I'm still going to watch it again, with all the commentary on.
Oh, yeah.
And, all the other stuff. Just see how it seems on TV. But then most of our review will be done from our live perspective and how.
Yeah.
But apart from that, guys, I'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. We are very close to breaking 250 subscribers, and that's awesome to know. We're edging ever closer to that. And our target for the end of this year is 400. We're still on track, so hopefully we can get to that. We hope you guys just enjoy it, and if you are new to the show, remember to subscribe. You don't want to miss any further episodes of the show. And apart from that, we hope you have a great week. We hope you have a great WrestleMania, whoever you watch it with. Sometimes most of the fun of WrestleMania is watching it with your friends because it's a big event. It's awesome. I'm not going to be watching it with anyone. Sadly, I'll be watching it with my 2 little girls at least.
With your daughters, yeah.
My 2 little girls. So yeah, hope you guys have a great time, and we'll catch you next week.
We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.